Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport, here for rounds 13 and 14 of the Pro Series. And we do have a full grid bar one. We are missing Gary 131, our championship leader, who will sadly not be taking part tonight. He's recovering at home, so we hope Gary gets better soon. We have been told though that he is the team principal for Little Leach tonight, so we'll see how Little Leach fares in this one as we go forward. I'm Matthew Duffin, and I'm joined again in the commentary box by Andy. Evening, Andy. Are we well?
Evening, Matt. Very good, thank you. Great to be back here for the Pro Series tonight. We saw some good action last night in the Pro-Am Series, so once again hoping that these guys can take it to the next level, being the top level of Simplay Motorsport's GT3 series. Looking forward to this one. Should be a great evening.
Indeed it should be. We should be in for some cracking battles tonight. We have got a new man making his debut, the only G with his multiple world record holder, not scoring points unfortunately tonight. Oh, we've lost somebody already. Not quite sure who we've lost.
Just trying to figure it out, looking through the order.
Yeah, Emo Guy, AHD, Biggs, Keeg, Sergeant, Little Leach, the only G. We've lost Monkey Boy. Monkey Boy isn't on that leaderboard, I can't see. So hopefully we can get Monkey Boy back in the session. But we've got cracking drivers on this grid tonight, don't you worry about that one. Mazda, with Gary not here, effectively the championship, the top man in the championship, seeing as Gary's not away at the moment, and is second place. No, he actually leads in the general classification, but second in the overall classification. I think, have we just lost another driver?
I think so. I think somebody disconnected. I'll just have a look and see. Not coming up on the race feed, which is odd.
No.
So we're not really not showing up who's actually disconnected there. I was going to say, Mazda, there's a certain air of inevitability over him coming out of this round with the lead of the championship, because all he needs to do is score a handful of points, and we know how strong he is, especially in the dry conditions. Obviously, this round here at Fuji being the only one I think this season that we're expecting to have a full dry race.
Imola, Red Bull Ring was dry, and Imola will be dry as well. So this is the second of the only 3 dry races here.
So yeah, it's going to be a good opportunity for Mazda to really steal the march on these guys, get some strong points on the board. I'm absolutely certain he's going to be going for a double tonight, but I know one man who is definitely going to stand in his way, and he's still sat in the pits at the moment, which is a little bit concerning. Well, obviously these guys can only use the hard tyres, so G needs to get out quickly in order to get those things warmed up. It's not going to be easy.
Well, G has agreed to start at the back of the grid for both races in this race, so as part of a stipulation for joining late, G has agreed to start at the back of the grid. He suggested that one, so G will start last in this first and second race, I do believe.
You definitely didn't tell me that. I hadn't forgotten.
I'll just quickly run you through the classification. At the minute, Mazda leads a point ahead of Gary in the general overall classification, with Little Leach third, Peaceful fourth, Sutty fifth, Phil in sixth place. All 53 points between them, so a lot of points still up for grabs here. We have got Monkey Boy back in, and Unorthodox was the other driver as his game froze. He's just texted me. Kieran sits 7th with Keegs 8th, AH in 9th, Monkey Boy 10th, and Dean Wasaki 11th for the Akoras, not having the season they'd have liked. Unorthodox, he joined at Spa, as did D-Big's Emo Guy and Fury, so them 4 are ones to watch out for, see where they can finish in this. Leach Motorsport lead the way on points as D-Biggs has lost it there in the Audi, the only Audi on the grid, and gets back on track now. Leach Motorsport lead from Ironbury Racing, Run Flat third, Forever Forward fourth, Flatline Motorsport fifth, and the interesting thing for me is if AH on his own can beat Flatline Motorsport as a team, and Mazda sets early pace, and he may as well pit with that lap time, I think.
That is unbelievably strong there from Mazda. We saw yesterday Jamie Brazier set the pole time in the qualifying session. I think it was the exact same time actually, 1:39.2 that we saw from Jamie. So Mazda's very much on that level at the moment. He looks like he's already taking it to the top of the leaderboard, and considering that his tyres can't even be warmed up fully yet, that is some very
good pace. Oh, his teammate's got second.
Guys out there. Yeah, Keeg's up to P2. Little Leach currently sat in third at the moment in this session, with Sutty Apex fourth. I don't think those guys have really shown their hand yet so far in this session. Dean Wasaki, Peaceful Explosion, looks like that must have been an outlap for him.
Yeah, so we'd have a 4 time for Peaceful. We know he's got capable and much more. Phil's just gone into P5 and Fury up into P3, so a good lap there from Fury. What can he do in this one of two Nissan GTRs on the grid, and we have Unorthodox back in the session. Emo Guy not yet out on track, so it should be an absolute cracking race. The drop score points.
Very odd.
Yeah, no, Unorthodox just come back in, obviously. Emo Guy, AH still in the pit lane, and D-Big's still not done a lap time yet. Very strange to see these guys not getting out on track. It is a 20-minute qualifying session, but strange to see them not there. We've got Michael Matthews, aka Peaceful Explosion, in the chat. Gary's with us in the chat, so good evening, lads. Hope you're well. Leonie G sits with us as well. Kieran Argent, that Bozzy Boy, which is Liam Gamer, and we saw Liam Gamer take a third place yesterday, even after the steward's inquiry, and he received 3 penalty points and a 5-second penalty for
driver of the day then.
He got driver of the day. Great drive. Andy would have missed the T-bone action that the stewards had to look at. It was a bit of a late lunge, and it really did clatter the side of Emo Guy, and we've lost. Who have we lost now? I'm sure we've just lost another driver. We've lost Dean Wasaki. He's not on the leaderboard anymore, so I'm not sure what's happening to Dean Wasaki. Also, a good evening to Bethany Ann Duffin. She's here, even though her man is not. Smithy's in the chat. Come on, little Leech, carry your brother. That's about right for Smithy. Jamie Brazier is with us, as is Fury's granddad. So a massive welcome to Fury's granddad over to the Simplay channel, and a good evening to Welshie. So we lost Dean Wasaki there. Was running P5 at the moment and then dropped down a few orders. We saw him on the grass a moment ago, and he's now disconnected from the session, so we hope Dean Wasaki can get back in. 30 minutes, 25 seconds remaining. Sorry.
Mazda's time there, 1 minute 38.8.
Oh, he's gone even quicker.
He's half a second quicker than what we saw Jamie Brazier doing yesterday, and we know how imperious Big Boy Brazier was over the rest of the pack in the Pro-Am series yesterday evening. So Mazda really setting down a marker so far in this session. He's just coming out to the end of the pit lane. So still a long way to go here in this session. We've got 20 minutes altogether, 13 left for us, currently 7 minutes in. Dutty Apex currently sat in second place, a little way off, not quite underneath the 1 minute 40s yet, close, but not quite there. Little Leech is 1.8 seconds off of that provisional pole time being set by Mazda. Can anyone get close to Mazda though? That's the big question here at Fuji tonight.
Absolute great lap from Mazda there, half a second quicker than Jamie Brazier last night. Yeah. He's done absolute bits. What can Little Leech do is he's about to cross the line. No improvement. No, can't improve there. Keeg sat in P4, so good qualifying for him. I was in a party with Keegs and Mazda pre-race, and Mazda was begging Keegs to get on that front row of the grid to help him pull away early doors in this one. And is he going to improve his time? Only needs half a second, 6/10 of a second to go above Sutty Apex. What does he do as he crosses the line? No improvement from him. Phil Slim with a shout. Just want to say that all drivers currently racing on track at the moment are still in for a shout of this championship. That Monkey Boy disconnection and Unorthodox disconnection are old. They are back in the server. There was Unorthodox at the side of the road. We have lost Dean Wasaki and do not have Dean Wasaki in the game as of yet.
It looks like he jumped in. Yeah, he's jumped in.
Oh no, he's jumped back in. He's back in.
That's good.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. That's what we want to see. He's back in.
They're up to P5 with that lap, Matt. Very good nice lap. There. Cruises up by a second ahead of Fury, so looking strong at the moment is Phil.
I was speaking to Unorthodox after the Motive v Simplay race last week, and he said to me that Unorthodox said that he felt the Nissans and the Mercedes would go really strong here. Well, we currently don't have a Nissan inside the top 5, and we don't even have a Mercedes in the top 5 neither. We've currently got 2 Lamborghinis, 2 BMWs, and a Porsche so far. The best of the Mercedes is Argent in P6, a really good lap from him. Emo Guy has not yet set a lap. Neither is AH. What is happening with AH at the moment? Because he's normally a guy that's up there battling it out at the front runners in qualifying, and he's struggling here. Right, he's just about to finish a lap. Gets one in now. Oh, brilliant time. That's not a bad first lap, Andy.
That's absolutely scorching there from AH. I don't know if he had his first couple of laps invalidated, but he's jumped onto the scene straight up into P2 there. Not too far off Mazda. Could he potentially give Mazda a little bit of something to worry about here in the second half of this qualifying session? He's got a bit of traffic which might compromise him, because I believe these 2 up ahead of him are also on laps as well. That's Fury's one of them, and the car behind him looks like
Little Leech.
Little Leech, yeah. So I don't think that AH is going to get the wave by that he's hoping for in a few moments' time. He might have to back off and just go again in a few moments' time. But Mazda looking good. AH though, more than a match for him. Let's see if Mazda can improve his time. We have heard in the build-up to this, Matt, I've heard rumours Mazda's to do a mid 1 minute 38. Is that true?
He did it not long ago, actually, just before he jumped in a party with Peaceful on a practice session and got a 38.6, a 38.5, I believe it was. I've seen him do a 38.5 myself, and then he got one earlier. And he's now not improved there, 4/10 slower. That 4/10 would have still been good enough for pole position, 2/10 ahead of this man on screen, AH, at the moment. And that's Fury just getting out of safe there, yeah.
Might have had to change his line a little bit there in response to Fury getting a bit sideways. Oh, as we see AH getting well out of shape there at the last corner, and he's going to have to back out. His next lap pretty much put a nail in the next lap for him as well. Sutty Apex looks like he's backed off coming through turn 2 as well. Peaceful Explosion just coming through the chicane at the moment. He's setting for good showing from Peaceful Explosion. Just not had the greatest of rounds recently, but he's certainly bouncing back at the moment. He's currently 3/10 up on his personal best. He's, as I said, 4th place in this session, driving in the Merc AMG. Let's see if he can maximise that thing's power coming down this long straight.
Yeah, we've not seen the best from Peaceful Explosion in recent weeks. Hopefully he can get back to his best here, because I'm sure he would absolutely love a fantastic race 1 and 2 here at Fuji. He needs to get back in. He needs 2 good races to get back in that championship hunt, and I'm sure that when it all comes down to the final standings at the season, he may look back at a few silly errors he made in other races that has cost him the championship.
He moves
so
up to
far.
P3 with that one. Displaces Sutty Apex. Very nice there.
Just shy of the 139 as well. So there's a few guys here not far off that mark. Monkey Boy in the Acura. Wow, just seeing that time pop up, 140.8. Tell you what, the Acuras haven't really pulled up any trees this season, but Monkey Boy currently P6 on track, and that looks to be one of the Nissans ghosting to him. Such Apex comes down the
that middle sector, the Acura, definitely. He must be struggling down this part. I
can assume the Acura is definitely going to struggle down here. No improvement for Such Apex. Yeah, I can only assume that the Acura really is struggling down this back part, because this is where, it's not got the best top speed. Oh, it's just round there, but yeah, not the best top speed from the Acura, but nonetheless, he's got a job to do and he's doing it well.
Absolutely. You see little Leach coming over the line. He improves his time, but he can't move up the order. He stays P5 at the moment, just behind Sutty Apex on the classification. Still yet to see the full potential of Unorthodox. He's currently sat in 12th at the moment in this session. There's a bit of commentary as well, does Unorthodox. He's a man of many talents and very much capable of taking the fight to these guys at the top of the order on track as well. And he 2/10 up on his personal best. Now, when you consider that his personal best is currently 3 seconds off the pace, that's not going to be enough for him. He really needs to get that together in the final stages of this qualifying session. Not much time left in this one to make any impressions. Here he comes into the last corner. So we're going to want to get a nice exit out onto this long straight, over a mile long, I believe. And a bit of flash of the lights there from Unorthodox. He knows that we've got our eyes on him at the moment. Monkey Boy just went out of the pits for his final run on the session.
Jamie Bracey in the chat asking if my voice was recovered from last night. Why did it sound a bit croaky last night, mate? I thought I sounded alright. I didn't realise I had a croaky voice. But Unorthodox goes 3/10 quicker and moves up to P10. Look at the midfield.
Excitement.
Oh, possibly. It was good racing last night at the Pro-Am Series. Look at the battle. Look at the gap between Peaceful Explosion and 140.1 all the way down to D Biggs 141.4. 1.5 seconds separate. Oh, a Sutty dips into the 39s with a 39.5. What a lap that is from Sutty Apex. We go down from 4th to 12th. 8 places separated by a second and a half. That's not bad going. But Sutty Apex has made sure he's right on the back of these two BMWs at the moment. We saw Dean Wasaki do a 42.5 before he ended up disconnecting. He's half a second off of that, but that wouldn't improve him anywhere other than P13 at the moment.
That's it. There's no Phil doing a decent job at the moment here in this session. He's currently 8th place, but Sutty Apex, his teammates absolutely flying at the moment here. And 7/10 off of Mazda. Still got a bit of time to find. Mazda looks like he might once again be the top dog in qualifying. He always goes well, especially in the dry conditions. But seeing Peaceful Explosion just coming up on the line now. Currently sat in 4th at the moment in this session. He's 1.2 seconds off that top time. See what he can do as he comes over the line. Can't improve at the moment. Looks like that might have been an outlap there for Peaceful Explosion, actually. And somebody's off in the background there. I'm not sure who.
Sooty Apex was sideways.
Yeah. We've seen Monkey Boy just coming up on the line now. See what he can do as he crosses over. He stays P7 at the moment.
Some good times coming in, Andy.
Dive Bomb King, but I can't join Dive Bomb King. I do apologise. Some very good times, Matt, especially in the default setups as well. When you consider that these guys don't really have, pardon me, a whole lot to play with. It's certainly quite a sight to see some of these guys chipping into the 1 minute 39s. Mazda's the only one in the 38s at the moment, but I know that with a full out maxed out setup, 36s, 37s are sort of the go-to time. So I imagine that these guys would probably be in that range if they did have these cars.
And you mentioned a moment ago about Mazda, the king of qualifying at the moment. He actually has 4 pole positions along with Sooty Apex. That's down to Sooty being able to qualify in a few second races this year, that he's got a couple of pole positions to his name. Look at that, Keegs getting out of the way of Mazda there. So was Keegs giving Mazda a bit of a tow? You thought he might have given him a bit of a longer tow than that. But I'm sure that Mazda will be chuffed to bits that he got a bit of slipstream from his teammate. Does this mean that his lap's going to be improved here?
Let's have a look. No,
well, half a second down. Half a second, that's still good enough for pole position. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible to see, you know, how much he's got in hand, but I think Keegs may have misjudged his run out of the last corner a little bit. He probably got a little bit, probably went a little bit too late. He'd have wanted to leave about a second between himself and Mazda coming out of that last corner and just maximise that tow all the way down to the end of the straight and then just get out of the way coming into turn 1. That's the best way to do it. But Mazda doesn't really need any help at this point. He is currently doing it all by himself. 0.6 of a second he's got back to AH. Looks like nobody's quite able to match him. They're not too far off. AH and Sooty keeping him reasonably on the same page, but he's definitely looking very strong and got to be a dead cert for this pole position here in this first qualifying session of the evening. AH currently out there at the moment. He's just coming under the Audi Sport Bridge towards turn 2. We've got Sooty Apex just coming up on the line now. Let's see if he can improve his lap time here. We saw his, I think it was his not his previous one, but the one before that. He managed to put it up into P3, so he crosses the line here. Sooty Apex currently tied on pole positions for this season with Mazda on 4. Can he make it 5?
Do you know what shocks me about pole positions this year is AH only has 1 and Gary only has 1 to his name. Mazda and Sooty with 4. Yeah, much more of a racer, but Sooty with 4, Mazda with 4. AH, I'm surprised hasn't took more. One man who has surprised me with a pole position in race 2, I think at Nürburgring if I'm right, was Dean Wysocki. Has a pole position to his name over the likes of Peaceful Explosion, Little Leach, Phil. You know, we've seen on Orthodubs in a couple of races now. Dean Wysocki has a pole position over them guys, and some of them guys have been able to qualify in a second qualifying session. Well off the pace though at the moment is Dean Wysocki. He has improved his time from a 43 dead to a 42 at 6, but he still needs 1.2 seconds to get even anywhere close to D-Biggs. So really struggling tonight is Dean Wysocki. Emo guy at the minute as well.
What I'm surprised about is Ian, because I know that he's a big fan of all things Japanese, but he's currently down in P14 at the moment. Driving at Fuji in the Nissan GTR, I would have expected Ian to be slightly more on the ball.
I think he had to avoid Kieran Argent there as he was coming down that straight. I think Kieran looked sideways in the middle of the road there.
Yeah, it would appear that he was slightly compromised there coming up and towards that last corner, but he's got the foot to the floor as he comes down this long pit, this long straight. See if Ian can.
One man who's improved slightly as well, Andy, is Peaceful Explosion. He's into the 39.9s.
Oh, Ian crosses the line. Looks like he can't improve at the moment. Yeah, Peaceful Explosion dipping into that bracket that we saw AH and Sooty in. Yeah. Peaceful's doing a good job at the moment in that Merc AMG, and obviously he's got such power down that straight, so he really is going to be gaining through there. One place where he's going to be losing out is the middle part. The chicane especially, but also that twisty section just before the last 2 corners. That is definitely where it's going to be losing out quite severely, as we see Mazda coming up on the line. Let's see if he can improve his lap time here. He's currently sat on the original pole here. He's got 0.6 back to AH, 0.7 back to Sooty. Can he extend the margin and rub salt in the wound too? He's going to get one more run after this. Regardless, he crosses over now.
Well, that was an outlap. That looked like an outlap to me.
Yeah, it does look like it. Sooty Apex out there at the moment.
Sorry, AH cannot get pole, so neither can Peaceful Explosion, Monkey Boy and Argent as well in the pit lane. So they've all backed out on their final runs. Sooty Apex will not get another run in this. In fact, there's a man just coming around the last corner now. I don't know if we can try and pick him up. It's not Sooty. And it isn't Fury or Emo Guy. Keegs. Little Leech is coming down the final the back straight now, so he will also finish his time. Can he gain half a second and dip under the 140 mark into the 39s? Can he also gain just a few hundredths of a second, if not thousandths? Excuse me, and go ahead, Keegs. Yeah, good lap time from Keegs. Can Little Leech outdo him? Couple of hundredths to gain.
He does.
And does it. Gains them. So close to him being in that 39 bracket as well. There's Emo Guy or Fury in the background. Oh, Emo Guy, I don't know if he's pulling out the way. He's not giving his teammate a tow here, that's for sure.
Oh, surely, well, it looks like he should have been. He signs on to, oh my goodness, what is he doing?
I don't know what Emo Guy's doing there. Fury flashes the lights and goes. It stays P12 at the moment. We've also got an Orthodubs crossing the line as well now. Can he improve? Where's he at? P11 at the moment. And he's about to cross the line. Is he up on his time at all? No, stays P11. That is Dean Wasaki in the background coming over the line here as well. Can Dean Wasaki gain any more time? Let's see as he crosses the line now. He does, he's gone P11, so a good time from Dean Wasaki, leaving it till the end. And an Orthodubs and Fury have been leapfrogged by Dean Wasaki. Car in the background, I do believe that might be Keegs coming to finish a lap, but I think he's done. Master's gone even quicker!
Oh my goodness, he is so quick around this Fuji track. Look at that, 0.8 of a second he's got over AH. Mazda's on another planet in this over one lap. I don't know how he's managing to do that on default setups, but that is quite phenomenal. Mazda taking pole there, AH second alongside on the front row. We've got Sooty and Peaceful. But Matt, this is going to be very difficult for any of these guys to get anywhere close to Mazda in this one.
Like you would not believe, Keegs improved at the last second but could not gain any more time over Little Leech to take that P5 back. Great qualifying, and a shout out to Monkey Boy here because that is an outstanding qualifying by the Acura. Not only the Nissan's home track, but don't forget the Acura's home track, pretty much a Honda. So the Honda back in Japan. And speaking of Emo Guy, loving all things Japanese, as does myself. So, you know, quite excited to be here tonight. I like Fuji. I think the track's a brilliant circuit to drive. Watch the Only G coming from the back of the pack. Dean Wasaki there making sure that... why couldn't this have been last Thursday? All the Motive guys who's come from Motive are sat 12th, 13th and 14th. It's a week too late, lads. It's a week too late to outdo them.
Well, to be fair, G obviously can't qualify, but yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. It looks like Simplay very much got the upper hand in these GT3 cars, but having said that, the race is a whole different story. Points are not handed out in the qualifying session, so anything can happen here in this one. I'm sure we're seeing G making progress as soon as we come under the green light here at Fuji Speedway. I saw a flash of the lights there from somebody at the back of the pack. That looks like it might have been Ian, actually. So he's certainly enjoying some of the conversation. But yeah, he's about to go racing here at Fuji Speedway for round 13 of the season here at Simplay Motorsport. Guys, if you like what you see here live on the Simplay Motorsport YouTube channel, then make sure you drop a like on this video. We've got 22 guys watching here, 22 guys and girls watching on this stream, so please, you can. So please, everybody, if you like what you see, then drop a like on the video because we need those 22 likes on this video. Also subscribe to the Simplay Motorsport channel if you want to see more action like this, and if you want to get involved in the on-track action, then make sure you sign up on the Facebook page. Simply go to Facebook and type in Simplay Motorsport and you'll be able to find some very, very accessible links on there. But Matt, who do we reckon for the victory here in this one?
It's hard to look past Mazda, isn't it? It's hard to see where Mazda's not going to gain all the time and take pole position and take the race win, should I say. It's hard to see that Mazda is not going to win this one. But I'm going to give an outside shot to Sooty or Peaceful from row 2. You know something? Any of the front four for me, I fancy them. What about yourself?
For me, yeah, I hate to be repetitious, but I'm going to have to go for Mazda as well because he just seems to be in another league.
Sorry, Maz. Andy's just jinxed you. We know what his predictions are like here at Simplay. So unfortunately, well done the rest of the field because Mazda's not going to finish this one because...
At least
Andy has jinxed him.
At least Fury's granddad knows who not to pick now, anyway.
So we've got the lights on here at Fuji, and we're about to be underway with green, and Mazda's got a terrible start already. Sutty Apex has gone off the line brilliantly, but so did AH, and AH currently leads, and as we head down towards turn 1, careful on the brakes here, everybody. Make sure you don't drive into the back of someone else, and I think Kieran gave Dean Wasaki a tap there, not quite sure, but Mazda's been bombarded and he's down. Hey, where is he? No, he's in the lead again. Well, he must have got a good second phase of that race because he got a terrible start.
Unbelievable run, yeah. He seemed to get so bogged down. He was down to 3rd place off the line, but he seems to.
Oh, we've lost D-Biggs.
Oh no, D-Biggs is out of the race.
Oh, that's unfortunate for D-Biggs because he was looking good.
Unorthodox trying to look down the inside of Sutty and AH. It looks like in the end he has to back out a little bit out of that one, but Unorthodox is really pushing here at the start of this race. Can't get it around the outside of Sutty Apex. He's not going to play Sutty at his own game there. In the end, it's like it's still side by side here. In the foreground, you can also see AH and Keegs going side by side. Looks like AH has got ahead of Keegs up into 4th. And also looking to the inside once again here of Sutty. He's got that
Keegs
move done.
Back.
It looks like Keegs is switching back to the inside of the chicane. He's got the inside line coming up alongside AH. It looks like AH manages to hold on to that one just about. Sutty's got back past Dan here. So we're seeing some fantastic racing on the opening lap. A bit of flashing in the background there as Ian has made some progress. Look at the start from Ian. He turns off into 9th place already here. Fantastic start from Emo Guy. Fury in 11th place. G's picked off 2 guys already up into 12. But not quite the progress I'm sure he would have wanted here in this race. Argent and Dean Wasaki has dropped down to 14th place at the end of his first lap.
Evening to Fury's mum. She's a bit late. She says she should apologise for that, but it's good to have you here. Peaceful Explosion now all over the back of Mazda. Mazda's not going to make it easy for him at all. We saw AH and Sutty get such a good start. They're running P4 and 5 at the moment, and Little Leach has been a bit quiet up into P3, but Peaceful Explosion will not let this BMW settle here, and Mazda's already defending his line, but here comes Peaceful. Is he going to try around the outside? Will he get it done before turn 1? No, he's going to have to either cut back or go the long way round. Mazda's too clever. You've got to wake up early in the morning to outbrake him. Little Leach in the background. We're hoping that these guys can hold each other up a bit. Sutty just having to take a bit of the grass. Yeah, he's letting... Was he letting Unorthodox through there? I believe he was. Dean Wasaki, not sure what happened to him at the start, but he's dropped down to P13. Oh, and his teammate, a Monkey Boy who's qualified so well, has dropped to last place. Not sure what has happened to him. Oh, what a shame.
That is unfortunate. Yeah, he's lost loads of time at the start of this race. We just caught the tail end of Phil having a little bit of a wobble there coming on the exit of turn 3. He's got Keegs and Emo Guy right behind him. Keegs has lost a few places. He was up into 4th at the start of this race. He's now dropped down to 8th place. He's got Ian very much in his mirrors. Ian once again proving that he is much more of a racer than he is a qualifier. He was 4 seconds off the pace in qualifying, but in the race he seems to have the grit and determination, and he's right on the back of the mid pack here. Currently Peaceful Explosion still right up the chuff of Mazda at the moment. These guys both pulling away from Little Leach, who's running all by himself, and they've pulled a little bit clear of Unorthodox. What a start!
He's round!
Oh no! And he looks like he's dropping back now. He's down in 10th place. That is not what Unorthodox would have wanted at all. He's lost places to AH, Phil, Keegs and Ian.
One thing I want to say, what's happened to Fury? Fury's just dropped down to P13 place, Andy. Sorry to put in. Fury's dropped to P13, and Dean Wasaki has passed the only G. That one's a turn up for the books, I must be honest. I didn't expect that. Dean Wasaki, what a legend. Outdoing the world record holder at the moment, but he won't do now because the core rate is too slow in a straight line, and that Mercedes will just breeze past without any slipstream whatsoever. Peaceful and Mazda. Peaceful looks like he's lost a lot of time to Mazda last lap, compared to Little Leach as well. Little Leach now on the back of Peaceful Explosion. This is a very fascinating race between these guys as well. Oh, H is round! At turn 1! Oh, what has happened to AH there? He was doing so well. Rejoins just in front of Unorthodox, but Sutty now runs up to P4. Phil's in 5th and Keegs is P6. Emo Guy now up into 7th place, and he's just picking guys off hand over fist here.
G?
Oh, G!
Coming on the exit of turn 1. He's got all sorts of out of shape, and that looked like it might have been, I don't know, he just seemed to just lose it on the inside of the corner. I don't know if he turned in too early or what was going on there, but the world record holder in the V8 Supercars, 31 world record.
Oh, there's Monkey Boy off! Monkey Boy's made another mistake, and yet after such a good qualifying, Monkey Boy is off into the wall, and you see he's got damage there. Now, you cannot pit unless your damage is sufficient, in which, by which I mean you've got severe engine damage, severe suspension damage where the car is pulling, and you cannot do too well because it's a dry race. We do have a mandatory pit stop, lap 6 in both race 1 and 2. But what is happening to the Only G? What happened to this man, AH? We saw him sideways at turn 1, and he's now got to make progress on unorthodox. Emo guy having a cracking start to his race, 3 laps in, and he's just picking places off here. Qualified P14, he's already gained 7 places in 3 laps.
Yeah, Ian was having a nightmare. Oh, Ian takes out Keegs!
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I don't think Ian touched him there. I don't think Emo Guy touched Keegs. I think Keegs got on the throttle. Emo Guy's waiting. I don't think they made contact there, Andy.
It looks to me like they did. What you might be suggesting there, I think, is that Keegs was already going round when they made contact, in which case that could be a possibility, but they definitely did make contact. It could be that Keegs had already lost control by that point, though. I don't know. We've got Dean Wisocki, he's got to run on Keegs, so that Acura looks like it might be making its only overtake down the straight of the whole race, or maybe not even, actually. It looks like he can't even do that, despite the lower speed of Keegs coming down that straight. So Dean Wisocki can't pull it off in that Acura. It's just absolutely no power whatsoever, that thing.
No, it's got nothing in a straight line. It cannot get around the outside of anybody here. So Keegs, wonder what will happen there. Kieran, looked all out of shape. And look at Emo Guy! What a move! So confident. He's got places to gain here. Bit of a commentator's curse the way he's lost out so many places at that final corner there. We're just saying how well he's done and he loses places. Emo Guy now then.
Is Kieran Archer going to get it around the outside of Ian, though? It looks like he's got a nice run here. It looks like he might drive clean round him. Ian's going to have to look out here in his mirrors. In the end, I think he's going to... No, Kieran Archer's still there. We're side by side. It's a bit of a drag race. Towards this game. It is, yeah. It looks like currently that... he's gone very late on the brakes in the and it looks like he's gone deep into the chicane, and that's seeing back up the inside there and up into...
Day late and $1 short for Kieran Argent there. You see G in the background just sent one up the inside of Fury, so a good move from him. The gap out front is now 2 seconds, and Mazda is already lapping in the 1:39s here at Fuji Grand Prix circuit. He's on fire at the moment. Peaceful Explosion has got to watch out for Little Each behind, with Sooty Apex fastly gaining on the 2 of them, but this man has got to do something. Can he react to what Mazda's doing? Well, he was a 10th quicker last time around, and Little Each was quicker than all of them. Sooty even quicker, 1.4 quicker than the leader, and just Sooty looks on form at the minute. He could be the man to watch to make some moves shortly. Phil kind of in no man's land at the minute, although he looked like it took him forever to get turned into that corner there. Unorthodox, after a spin early on, he's had a quiet race.
It is a long braking zone coming into that first corner. It's tricky angle as well. It's tighter than what you think it is when you come towards it. But Unorthodox currently sat in 6th place at the moment, lapping in the 1:42. He's not been the race. I mean, considering the start he made, it's not been the subsequent start that he would have wanted to this race. I mean, he was up to, I think, was it 4th after 1 lap? And he started at the back.
Yeah.
But,
had a bit of a spin though, didn't he? Himself, kind of lost it himself, didn't he? And he's not seemed to have recovered from that. I mean, P6 still good place at the moment, and we've still got a long way to go. Emo Guy is ahead of Kieran Argent after Kieran outbraked himself at the chicane. But I tell you what,
G's currently sat in 10th at the moment, not making the progress that he would like to have been. He's pulled away a little bit from Fury.
Oh, Dean looks like he's been in the wall. Bit of bodywork damage to the front of that car. It doesn't look the best, does that Acura? And he was making some good progress with Dean Wisocki, but he's got some bodywork damage now, and that could really trouble him. He's only got the 1 headlight as well, so that's not looking too good for him. So we'll have to see what progress he can make in the rest of this race. But at the moment, AH, who's been in the pits, clearly had severe damage, has been in the pits and lost a lot of time. And so is Monkey Boy. He's lost even more time. He's only 10 seconds behind AH. It looks like he's been in the wall again there, if you ask me, as Monkey Boy, because it's not fixed. And look at this. Oh, Little Each is somewhere past Peaceful Explosion, and Peaceful's coming back at Little Each into turn 1, and he's got to give Peaceful the room. Good hard fight in between these two, and Little Each looks like he's got that job done. There's Peaceful Explosion. Looks as if he's pulling alongside him here. In fact, they are side by side. Head down towards turn 2. That is Sooty Apex. We'll be watching this battle unfold. You see it on board Sooty. Look at Peaceful and Little Each. Peaceful's got back through, and Little Each now going to try the long way around the outside line on turn 3. Is actually a bit quicker than the inside. Oh, and he's cut back underneath, and that was a great move from Little Each, but Peaceful's going to hang it up the inside then. And turn 4, I tell you what, these two brilliant driving side by side for a couple of corners here, and this is an absolute fantastic scrap. It's allowing Mazda to get away, but it's allowing Sooty Apex to gain as well.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant there from Peaceful Explosion. He just had it sussed out exactly what he needed to do. He had to hang it around the outside and make sure that he had the inside. or the left hand. He goes a little bit deep into the chicane. But yeah, Soti Apex very much being played into contention in this battle now for second place. Mazda very much checking out at the front. This is going to be a battle for best of the rest as it's going at the moment. But then again, it's early doors and anything can happen. Oh, as we see, it looks like Peaceful going a little bit wide there, coming into the penultimate corner. Now Little Leach up the inside. He's going to have the outside for the last corner, but it's a windy, very long, late apex here, this last corner, and it can definitely benefit the car on the outside.
I tell you what we saw though last night, yeah.
Exit.
I think it was just about to elaborate on that way. I tell you what we saw last night a lot was a lot of cutbacks, and a lot of cutbacks done really well in the Pro-Am class. Look at this man though. Soti Apex has a bit of a toe off Peaceful Explosion and Little Each here down the straight. Where's he going to go? Is he going to make this interesting and go down the middle? Are we going to be three wide into turn one? Suti's going to go for the gamble, and are we going to see a lunge between the two of them? No, he's played it safe. Soti, I tell you what, we may have to change the Soti send it to a Liam lunge after Liam sent one last night, and Soti doesn't seem to send them tonight. We may have to alter this. Keegs has dropped into the pits. We are in the pit window now.
I think we're going to change it from a Soti send it to a Soti safety. This way.
Soti safety, absolutely love it. Little Leach has gone wide though, and that is Soti up the inside of him.
Sorry, Soti, I don't. It's the Soti send. It's very much yours. I'm only playing, obviously, but he's made a great move there up the inside of Little Leach up into third place. So he's sent one there, and he's going to be on the back of Peaceful Explosion, trying to get up to that P2. He's losing time to Mazda though at this point.
What is though, Andy, is if Soti can clear these two quick, he may be the only man who could challenge Mazda in this first race.
Yeah, that's the thing. But he's losing hand over fist. Oh, he gets
a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to. The mid part of the corner definitely didn't go his way there, and he's got Little Leach right up his chuff here. He's not going to be able to focus on Peaceful Explosion up ahead of him when he's got Little Leach just I tell you, all over his mirrors in the way that he is.
I tell you what we've got here. We've got Mazda, who will take over the championship lead after tonight, more than likely, because we obviously Gary not being here. We've then got so let me get it up. We've got P3, Little Leach, P4, Peaceful Explosion, P5, Soti Apex. This is the championship fight one. See, Mazda, just slow the pace down a bit, get in this gaggle of cars, and we'll have a four-way championship battle with Gary not here. It's the top four after that in a championship scrap. Soti looked like he nearly put it in the wall himself there, trying to defend. He's going to come back into the toe of Peaceful Explosion, and look at the double toe of Little Each take effect here. Is he going to lunge up the inside? Is he going to send one on the Master? I think he may have done, you know.
No,
Soti's very deep. Wide. Very, very deep, and Little Each pulls the move off. Soti, he's kept it. Great driving in this Pro. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic racing tonight. It's given Peaceful Explosion a little bit of breathing space in that P2 position, but Mazda's definitely. Well, actually, Mazda's lost a bit of time, actually. By the looks of it, the gap's down to 5 seconds. It was 6, so maybe Mazda's made a small mistake there coming between turns 1 and 2. As we see Little Leach trying to hang around the outside of Soti. Soti's going to send it back up the inside. No, he's not. Little Leach has got the inside for the next corner, so he's keeping on to that third place by the skin of his teeth, and Peaceful Explosion pretty much let off the hook here. Soti's going to cut back to the right hand side here. You see he's going to have to run on the inside.
Oh, this is going to be a send it, surely.
Surely. No!
Oh, it's definitely that's it. The Soti safety. It's no longer the Soti send, it's the Soti safety. Nah, not having that one, Graham. If you are listening, we've changed it to the Soti safety. We've got the Liam lunge now, so that's all. That's it. The Liam lunge, the Scottish shove, and the Soti safety. That's all we need here.
I feel bad now. I feel like I just really set him up.
That's horribly. It. He's retiring. You've ruined his career.
I'm so sorry.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. Mazda, you said, lost a bit of time. When he's gained that time back, he's back to 7 seconds in the lead. He is flying at the moment. What can anybody else do about Mazda today? That's Peaceful coming in the pits.
He is, yeah. It looks like he's first to Flinky. He's trying to get the undercut by the looks of it on. Well, he didn't need to get the undercut because he was actually pulling away from those two. But it's his chance to get his foot down, maybe hopefully in some clear air. He'll be hoping.
One man I noticed. Sorry, Andy. One man I noticed had a lot of time in the pits. Keegs down to P13 in the pit lane and was ahead of Emo Guy when he pitted. Is now behind him. So what has happened during his pit stop, I don't know. But yeah, lost out massively there. He was running well with Keegs in the early parts of this race and had that bit of a spin. Whether Emo Guy started it or finished it, we're not quite sure. But yeah,
had bodywork damage from that collision with it.
Potentially, yeah, potentially. Peaceful then. How long is it going to be for him to pit? Because he's still there at the moment. Good move from G. He's already pitted as well. Pitted last lap. and is ahead of AH. Peaceful is out the pits and ahead of Dean Wasocki. Dean Wasocki, the only man not to have pitted as of yet from P8, as well as in the top 6. Peaceful and then from 9th down have all pitted so far. Here is Dean Wasocki then clearly wanting to run long in this race and see if that will help him out, but that car looks a bit twitchy under braking. He looks like he's got damage to the front of that as well, so clearly struggling tonight.
It does. One man who's on a bit of a charge at the moment is G. So currently second of the guys who have been into the pits for their mandatory pit stops. But having said that, I think pretty much all of those top 6 guys are going to jump him when they come in, because everyone down to Kieran Argent, even Kieran Argent's got 30 seconds to G. So I think G should come out at about 7th place. Considering he started at the back, it's not too bad of a performance from this man, making his debut here at Simplay Motorsport.
Nice to have him here.
It is, it's nice, and it's about...
Oh no! Oh no!
He's not fit! He got sideways! And he looks like he's fit! Oh my goodness!
I tell you what!
The pressure! It's the commentator's curse, Matt. We need to start watching Mazda.
I tell you what!
Oh, we see Sutty up the inside. He sends it up the inside of Little Leach. He's redeemed himself. Sutty Apex has brought back the Sutty Send It.
I tell you what, you cannot make that up with the only G there. Just praising the work. We praised Emo Guy earlier, he span. We praised a few drivers last night, they made mistakes. Us as commentators, we just need to be negative on everybody. Sutty, that was a really poor overtake. Right, you're guaranteed not to spin now. Keep going, bud. Mazda's doing a top job, though.
No one can beat him. He's guaranteed. Guaranteed. Odds-on favourite for this win, Mazda. He hasn't done anything wrong. He's a flawless driver. You know, he's probably got a humongous BMW there underneath him. But,
yeah, he's a god on the race circuit. Without Gary here, it makes him shine. Them lights shine even brighter. So go on, Maz. Any time now, please. He's coming up to lap, last place Monkey Boy at the moment, but don't forget Mazda has to pit. Fury's granddad in the chat says that Andy's predictions strike again. Andy actually predicted Mazda to win the race. Mazda leads by 8 seconds, so it's not come true yet, Fury's granddad. Keep your eyes out for that one. The mechanics will drop the engine on their toes or something and he'll have buggered up his pit stop. We'll wait and see what happens yet. Sutty up to 2nd place and he's pulling away from Little Leach already. I said this man was possibly the only one to challenge Mazda in terms of pace. That to me, is that Little Leach coming over to the pits? I do believe it is.
Yeah, he is. So he's trying to get the undercut there on Sutty. He probably realises that Sutty's got a little bit more pace in clean air, so maybe Little Leach can try something out, maybe change tyres. I don't know.
The question for Little Leach is, has he overcut Peaceful Explosion here?
That is a good question. Peaceful Explosion's coming into the penultimate corner. I think he probably is going to come out ahead of him just by looking at where Peaceful is out on the track. Little Leach has already emerged from the pit box, but he's only halfway down the pit lane, so it's going to be close here, Matt. It's going to be. It's going to be
mighty close here. He's on his way out, but Peaceful's going to be up to such good speeds compared to Little Leach coming out the pit lane, and Little Leach won't be straight into the braking zone. Where is Peaceful? Do you know something? I think Little Leach has overcut him here. I think Little Leach has jumped Peaceful Explosion in the pits. There's turn 1. He's already on the brakes to turn 1. Peaceful, I mean, he's not far behind him. But the undercut for Peaceful, don't forget Peaceful was in front of these guys, has not worked. The overcut for Little Leach has. But now, has he got enough, or can he do enough to undercut Sutty Apex, who was quicker than Mazda last time around? So absolute fantastic stuff from him.
Maybe Peaceful got a little bit held up. He could have hit some traffic and just ended up spending too much time caught up in battles that he'd really rather not be having. Sutty closing in on Mazda though, 8 seconds separating those two.
Yeah, this is the fight I'm looking forward to now. 7 laps left, 6 laps left. This is the scrap I'm going to look forward to. I said early on that Sutty was the man to challenge Mazda, and I stand by what I said there. I think if anyone's going to beat Mazda, Sutty's the man to do it, I do believe, in this first race at least anyway. We'll see about race 2. Sutty crosses the line and is still half a second quicker. He's gained on Mazda that last time around. Phil has pulled the trigger on the team orders for Sutty and him to pit. So Phil pits at the end of lap 11, leaving Argent, Unorthodox, Sutty, Mazda and Dean Wasocki yet to pit. Argent, that could cost him in the pits.
He will have some bodywork, some bodywork damage on the right hand side of that car there. Kieran Argent, he definitely had a hefty whack with the pit wall as he came in. Comes into the box, let's see if it compromises him. If he's got repairs on, then it will compromise him. If he doesn't, it should be alright. Depends whether or not he wants to run the last 7 laps.
See, this annoys me with Project Cars. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's going to jump Phil. He's going to jump Phil. Oh, what's happened to Phil? Phil's having a poor pit stop. And Kieran Argent has jumped Phil. Phil is away now, but Kieran Argent took a massive clout into the wall and has come out ahead of Phil. Where is AH in relation to these guys, I wonder then? Let's see. He might do Phil here. I don't know if he'll do Kieran, but he might do Phil. Dean Wasocki down to 12th. Not sure what's happened to him. Must have had a spin on his own. But is not going to pit yet. Phil's out the pits. No, AH hasn't done him yet. Fury and Emo guy flashing like mad.
Surely he's going to get him. Going to be side by side here at the end of the straight, are they? Maybe. Oh, Phil just about manages to get him.
Just does it. Just has enough, yeah.
Surely AH is going to fancy his chances here in the next few corners as Phil gets those tyres up to temperature, having been stationary for quite a few seconds there. In the background there, you've got Ian still holding on ahead of Fury. These two teammates battling it out. I just want to revisit Mazda and Sutty. The gap currently 10 seconds, so Mazda's responded a little bit, but I think that Sutty's ship has sailed in terms of the race win here in this one. I think that Mazda's just managed to put out too much of a gap in the early stages, and he's going to surely bring this one home. You know what I'm doing, Matt. You know what I'm doing, okay? We both know what I'm trying here.
Yeah.
But I think Mazda's definitely got this one in the bag at this point. I don't think anyone could possibly beat this man tonight.
I don't think they can neither, Andy. I think you're absolutely spot on with that. Dean is in the pits and must have had another problem as he's down to P14, so he has not gone well for him. He's not qualified strong, although he gained a few places. His race is going even worse. So not the night Dean Wasocki would have wanted. But this man, Phil, needs to now pick up the pace. He's gapped AH a little bit on his outlap. AH actually being caught by the two Nissan drivers, interestingly. So AH, you know, he's not struggling, is AH. AH never seems like he's struggling, but he doesn't seem to have that pace that we saw him having qualifying.
No, he definitely doesn't. He was within 8/10 of a second, put it on the front row in qualifying, but the race has really not gone his way. He might have damage on the car. It looks like he probably does, because he's lapping in the 144s. We'll keep an eye on those times this time around. Riding on board with Fury at the moment. No light flashing at the moment from Fury, so he seems to have fallen in line in that particular regard. For now, whether or not that's here to stay, we will have to wait and see.
Oh, who's that deep? That's AH. I think AH is spun when we was on board Fury there. Yes, he has, and he's all rejoined. I don't know if he's rejoined. I didn't see if he'd fully lost the car. I saw him lose the rear. But that has allowed Fury and Emo guy through, and Dean Wasocki has had another moment here. Then what is he doing?
It looks like he's all but retiring from... No, he's just getting out of the way. He's making sure he's not holding these guys up.
Well, he's got to get to lap 14. Sutty's in the pits, so he's pulling the trigger.
Yeah, but he's going to need a miracle to win this race now. Mazda's got too much of a gap to him. I think this battle between... Well, I think Phil...
The question as well...
Back to the Nissans, but they could end up tripping over each other here.
Yeah.
Emo guy and Fury.
Let's see
where... that these two are not the most harmonious of teammates. They do regularly have disagreements, and you know, things could boil over between these guys. And we see AH looking to the inside. He's going to try and take these positions straight back off of the Nissans, but it looks like Fury's fighting this one.
Good squeeze, good squeeze.
Oh, Fury doing a fantastic job there of fighting back with AH. AH gives him a little bob there as he came around the penultimate corner, but what racing from Fury when you consider this young lad is also driving on a DualShock controller as well. What absolute fantastic racing there from Fury.
Both these two on the DualShock controller as well. AH actually races the DualShock controller, so to say they're both on a pad, that is brilliant stuff. And look at the double toe this BMW's getting here from both the Nissans. Sutty jumped Peaceful and Little Leach in the pit, so Sutty's done a heck of a job. And look at this, they're going to go 3 wide down to Tier 1. The BMW is just pulling down the straight. That has got some power behind it. I thought the Nissans might outdrag him. Oh, he's gone deep though. He's gone very deep. Very deep here.
That was Ian having to thread the needle there as he came through both of them, and Ian's got himself back up into 8th ahead of Fury there. Absolutely fantastic stuff. But yeah, AH looked like he had that move done coming into turn 1. As you say, that thing's a rocket ship.
Yeah, that BMW just got the double toe and it just was gone. Outbraked himself, unfortunately. Sutty has pitted and has jumped Peaceful Explosion and Little Leach. Unorthodox and Mazda still the two to pit. We're on lap 15. Mazda lapping in the 41, so are his tyres slowly going off? I tell you what, all he needs is a fantastic, really good quick pit stop, and he's won this race.
That's it. That's the apex 39 seconds behind.
And I'm not touching wood that he has a fantastic pit stop neither. Is that peaceful?
Actually closed in a little bit, 38 seconds. So if Mazda does have a pit stop error of some kind, and we see Fury's got back ahead of Ian here, up into 8th place, the 2 Nissan GTRs, once again dicing it out.
Oh, where's AH gone? Where's AH gone? Oh, we've lost AH!
No, AH is out of the race. Has he disconnected or retired? AH, let us know in the comments what's happened.
I'm not quite sure. He has done 14 laps out, so he will score points for that, but it will only be points of 14th place and not the points he'd have wanted. He's had a few unlucky rounds recently with disconnection problems, so hopefully that is not the case here. But Emo Guy and Fury at the moment really having a good team battle. I know Fury was speaking, he doesn't want to get relegated to the Tier 2, the Pro-Am category here at Simplay Motorsport. And he's really putting on a good show for us with his teammate here. And this is all for 8th place, so it's good points on offer as well here. Keegs up to 10th, G still only 11th, although he's running quicker than the leaders. Quickest man last time out, but we've not seen him be consistent here tonight.
No, he really hasn't. It's not gone to plan at all for G. And we see him
very loose, very loose.
To be fair to G though, he's the fastest man out on track at the moment. He's got the pace, but things haven't fallen for him. Starting at the back is never easy, especially with full damage on. So I think we'll hopefully be seeing the best of G in the second race as he starts to gain some confidence.
One thing I'm noticing. Go on, sorry.
One thing I'm noticing is that the race pace of these guys is actually not as quick as what we saw from Jamie Brazier last night. He was in the 139s in the race.
One man I'm interested on here, Andy, is Keegs. On the back of this double Nissan battle, we saw how AH pulled in the BMW. He is sat in a very comfortable position at the moment, and can that BMW pull his way down the straight? Phil has not gained Kieran Argent as quick as I'd have thought he would have. We're on lap 16, Mazda and Orthodub still the 2 men to pit. Still Emo Guy and Fury battling on track, and this could really play dividends to Keegs. Is that Fury going to look for a cutback? No, Emo Guy's got it parked well. But now this is where we could see that BMW of Keegs stretch its legs and really use the power that we saw of AH down this start straight.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a lovely toe here, but he's a bit too far back, I reckon. And because Fury's got the toe of Ian up ahead of him, it's going to mean that it's going to be so hard for him to even get close to him. As you see Fury over to the outside coming into turn 1, Ian defends it on the left-hand side, but Fury's got slightly ahead in the braking zone. Is he going to try and put it all the way around the outside?
Oh, Keegs!
Oh no, Keegs lost it! He's got onto the grass, and that's G up into 10th. Oh, Keegs. It looks like he might have lost his chance of taking that 8th or 9th place there.
And that's unfortunate as well, because I said he was looking nimble. There we go, look, commentator curse again. I said he was looking nimble, and yet he wasn't. Mazda is on lap 17 now, so he's got to pit this lap, otherwise could face disqualification. Where's on Orthodubs on track? 30 seconds behind. He's got to pit next lap as well then, so 2 guys are leaving it late. They're doing the DJ Phil tactic here, and they've got to pit this lap next time around, otherwise they will be disqualified from this race. The gap between Phil and Argent hasn't, you said about this battle earlier, this could be one to watch later. Phil and Kieran Argent has not materialised. Still 2 seconds is that gap. Sooty Apex a further 40 seconds behind Mazda. Yeah, this one, Andy's just not materialised like we thought it would.
Phil's making gains though. Last time around he was half a second quicker, and it looks like he's continuing to make inroads on Kieran Argent. It could be a bit too late, but you've got to remember these guys have actually got 2 laps left to go. They're only starting lap 17 now, so that was a hiccup again, but we've got still plenty of time left in this race, over 3 minutes.
Oh, I say that, and look at the slipstream. Oh, I changed my mind. Look at the slipstream here. It was working beautifully, but Kieran just keeps seeming to weave around here. Now, he's not fully defending, is Kieran, so he's well entitled to weave a bit here, as he's not fully defending from Phil. But Phil, are we going to see the Sooty send it from the teammate? No, we're not. That was the 2 Nissan side by side, though. That looked a bit exciting. Keegs in the background. And Mazda is now in the pits.
Yeah, he should come out clearly ahead of Sooty Apex unless he has a problem in the pits here, Matt.
That was me just touching some wood there. He has a great, solid pit stop. Unorthodox has to pit this lap as well, and yeah, you're right, he should come out. Oh, he's done. In and out as easy as you like. Mazda is on a mission tonight, lads. Lads and ladies, apologies. He's on a mission tonight. I
think that he definitely owes his pit crew around after that one, because they have well and truly done him the best possible service. We're going to see Dan in the pits now. He's just slowing it down as he comes into pit lane.
This one excites me, Andy. Where's he going to filter out here? He's going to lose out to Sutty, probably Peaceful.
You would think he'd be somewhere around pit Kieran Argent.
He's going to filter into a nice little battle, whether it's Argent and Phil or whether it's the two Nissans and G. It could be an interesting little battle. Peaceful and Little each will get him, but he's away. Oh no, he's going to come out well in front of Argent. I apologise.
Yeah, I mean he's halfway down the pits. His pit box is quite a way in, so yeah, he should be out in quite a comfortable 5th place. He was in 6th when he came into the pit, so he's obviously done a very good job in the meantime. Phil didn't have the perfect run, he made a couple of mistakes. G likewise. So Dan's just been pretty, from what we've seen of, yeah, he's made his way up to 8.
He's actually pulled ahead of Emo Guy and Fury. Fury's actually lost out to Keeg somewhere. Oh, the Nissans haven't had a coming together, have they? Oh, that is all they'll need as a team. What a shame that would be.
If they have, then there will definitely be a lengthy debrief. I would love to be privy to that party chat.
Oh, G looked a bit wiggly there under braking. Looked like he'd gone a bit deep, and Emo Guy for a moment had a bit of a run, but G's managed to get that one closed off. Mazda though, he's coming near the end of this one, and he's been flawless today. The only thing that went wrong for him in this race was the start. He didn't get off the line well, Andy, but apart from that, you cannot take anything away from this drive. This man is on the hunt to become the first ever Simplay Motorsport champion in the GT3 category, and I tell you what, with a drive like this, who could take it away from him? He's been absolutely flawless. A flash of the lights. This man's going to take the victory. A superb job to him.
Yeah, you can't fault him for that drive. I mean, the start, he dropped down to 3rd place before the first corner, but he was already back in the lead on the exit of turn 1, so he was just shows how locked in he was. He was very engaged and knew he had to get back on top as soon as possible. He's driven away from these guys tonight. Hasn't been as dominant as we've seen in the past, but he was consistently pulling out bit by bit by bit. We see Sussy Apex bringing it home P2, solid points there for him. Losing points to Mazda in that championship race. Gary is going to be watching this, and surely he is going to be ruining the rest of the season. Let's hope that Gary can get something sorted out in terms of, I don't know. I mean, I've said my suggestion, Gary. You know, if you just assign those gear paddles as the accelerators and use the buttons as the gears, then at least that's something. You know, you don't have to make do with the pad.
Yeah.
But Mazda's got to be the favourite for the championship after that. What a win from him. Peaceful Explosion's come over in 4th. Little Leach was 3rd, obviously. We had Peaceful Explosion 4th. Unorthodox 5th place for him. Kieran Argent 6th. Decent result for him, actually. Very nice result from Kieran Argent. Phil over in 7th. G in the end got himself up to 8 after that slightly calamitous start to the race. Emo Guy coming over in 9th after losing that time. Keegs in the end splitting the two Nissan GTRs. Fury at 11th. Monkey Boy and Dean Wisoki's going to come around to complete the classification after a decent qualifying session for Dean Wisoki. Not really gone to plan in the race.
It hasn't for him, and that's an absolute shame, but I'm sure he'll be wanting to redeem himself in race 2. So we all... Who did the fastest lap? Oh, who do you think? Adam Cab, aka Mazda 917, the fastest lap of the race. Not by much, no, but he's absolutely smoked it. The only man in the 39s. Even G wasn't quicker than Mazda in that one, and that one is a bit of a shock to me. But Mazda takes a great win for Iron Brew Racing. Run Flat Racing of Sutty Apex in 2nd, with Little Leach on his own tonight. Leach Motorsport in the Porsche in P3. A great first race. Do not go anywhere, because race 2 is going to be even better, where the top 5 cannot qualify. So Mazda, Sutty, Little Leach, Peaceful Explosion, and Unorthodox. Unorthodox cannot qualify for this one, so it's going to be an absolute cracking race. I do believe G is starting from the back of the grid as well, so that could be interesting to watch all the quick guys at the back. And qualifying 2 could really go down to anybody, but I think I'm going to tip either Argent or Phil for pole position for me.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I reckon, I mean, the thing is, if G hadn't agreed to not qualify for both rounds, I reckon he would be my tip, hands down. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be. I'd have to have another look at it too. But I reckon that Kieran Argent's got to be a good shout for pole position. I don't know, maybe, possibly Monkey Boy.
Potentially, could be. It surprised a few people up there. Fury, I think, is another shout. Phil, take nothing away from Phil. AH as well, not finishing race 1. Could be the man to take pole. Actually, I forgot about AH because he's disconnected. AH could be the man to take pole.
Oh, he's got to be your favourite, yeah.
Struggled with engine temps and couldn't change tyres in the pits again. Looking forward to race 2, though, says AH in the chat. Unorthodox says that was a lonely race. Keeps me honest there, Mike. aka Peaceful Explosion Master said. Gary, I'll be sorting something, Andy. Don't panic. I just can't move without excruciating pain at the moment. That's the only reason I'm not here.
Oh, Gary, it's a shame obviously you can't be with us at the moment. Hopefully you do get back to the rig as soon as possible.
Fury's granddad, Andy, please don't tip Fury. Oh, brilliant. Oh. Absolutely brilliant. What this has done to the table is Mazda leads Gary on the overall classifications by 27 points. 36 ahead of Little Each, 47 ahead of Peaceful, 57 ahead of Sooty. But it goes on the drop score for this season. We're possibly going to change this going into next season, but I tell you now, Mazda leads by 8 after the drop score, so it's still close, but he's pulled that gap that Gary did not want in this one so far.
G just saying in the comments section that his PlayStation Plus membership has run out, so he's just got to quickly go and renew that before we get going. Oh dear. Jamie Brazier, Gary wants you to predict Mazda to win, Andy. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, Mazda's going to run away with this one, but to be fair, I've actually predicted Mazda to win race 1, guys, so...
Yeah, and he's just said in the comments to that, you tipped me and look what happened at the start. Yeah, but when we tip somebody... When we tip somebody Mazda, normally they have a bad race. You did the opposite. You had a bad start and everything went better from that. Just going to run you down the quick drop score classifications. Mazda leads by 8 points with Little Each 32 behind after the drop score and Gary 8 behind. Peaceful Explosion 38 behind. Sooty is also now 38 behind, so has pulled it back. And after the round 1 at Fuji, or round 13 of the championship should I say, everybody's still in with a shout of winning the title, although we could lose Emo Guy and Fury out of the running for the championship, which is expected. They didn't join until Spa this season. What this has done is Dean Wasocki is now in the danger zone of being relegated after the drop scores. He's gone below Unorthodox already in the championship, and that is not what Dean would have wanted, I'm sure. Just reading the chat. G said his controller died mid-race. Oh dear, Phil, should have been a good result for me there, but a battery issue in the pits and getting hit by a car rejoining the track, never mind. Fury says so close between me and Keegs, leaned on me a little bit on the end of the straight. He got 41 thousandths of a second between us. Keegs a bit cheeky there, was annoyed with being spun around.
Obviously G's controller died mid-race now. He is on the G29, however, he runs his volume through his headphones, which are plugged into his controller, so he couldn't hear his car during the race.
Yeah,
what I think
makes sense. Makes sense.
I'll clarify that with him.
We are just waiting for... Who are we waiting for? We know we're waiting for G, but who else are we waiting on? We are waiting on one of the other Nissans, which is Emo Guy, I believe we are waiting on, and the only G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 drivers in out of the 15 here before. There is Mal, who was... I tell you what, it's a good job I didn't start the race because we was missing Mazda as well. Oh dear. So we are just waiting Emo Guy and G, but we'll give them just a couple of minutes. So everybody, if you want to grab a quick drink or refresh yourself, do so now. We'll just have a couple of moments and then we'll be away. Just
also guys, if you're watching live on the Simplay Motorsport YouTube channel, then be sure to drop a like on this video. We've got 25 people watching the stream, so please guys, can we get those 25 likes on this video? Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content. And if you want to get involved in the on-track action, make sure you go to the Simplay Motorsport Facebook page. In fact, let me just put the link in the comments section, make it easier.
Sooty's praying for rain. Absolutely brilliant. Is that the only way that Sooty can beat Mazda, I think is what he's trying to say there, that he wants the rain?
Sounds like that, yeah. doesn't have the confidence in these dry conditions by the sounds of it.
Absolutely brilliant stuff here.
Why is it not showing up as a link?
Just wondering where Emo Guy and there's the only G. Just waiting on Emo Guy. Then, as we may have to start qualifying, and Emo Guy may have to then just join us and start qualifying as and when we start. Yeah, IH Racing, it is dry for race 2. It's the same weather but sort of reversed for race 2, so no changes to whatever except instead of it starting overcast, it will start with light cloud, then stay hazy and then go overcast. The only difference is it's at 1 in the morning, not 11 o'clock at night. I think we're going to have to get underway here, and Emo Guy hopefully join us during the qualifying session. It is the online championship, so I don't believe that he'll miss out at the 2-minute window mark. I believe he will be able to get back in. AH for the win, says Mazda in this one. Peaceful wants rain as well. Sutty's asking Beth if she's seen the starts. Good race, Peaceful and Little Leach as well. We're seeing a cracking battle up and down the grid tonight. Sutty, Little Leach and Kieran at Peaceful Explosion had such a good battle in that mid-pack for second place at one stage before the pit stops, Andy.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know who was going to come out on top in that one.
No, you didn't, and in the end Sutty managed to get it, but there were quite a few send-its going on. Lots of nice cutbacks, and the pit stops kind of put a nail in that battle. But yeah, it was absolutely fascinating to see those guys going toe to toe. Now, what we're hoping is that those 4 guys plus what am I talking? My voice, what's happening? I said plus rather than plus. Jesus, I can't talk today. Sorry, I do apologise. So, obviously, with those 4 guys plus unorthodox starting at the back of this field, being the top 5 can't qualify, it's going to mean that they're all going to be fighting each other, which might be a bit of a neutralisation for Mazda. We don't want to see him getting his legs nice and stretched. We want to see him struggling a little bit.
I've not got the leaderboard on my screen, Andy, sorry.
Let me just amend that. So what we need is Mazda to get a little bit tied up in some battles, not running off into the sunset like we saw in that race 1, and hopefully coming from the back, it'll be a bit more of a level playing field. Who knows? We could see Sutty and Little Leach making quicker progress through the field, and this is nothing on Mazda. It's just that we really want to see some good racing in this race too. We want to see a fight for that P1 position.
Yeah, indeed. So it could be a cracking battle from the back of the pack, like you say, though, Andy. Could be an absolute fascinating one as well. I'm just going to give you the podium lists now. Mazda has taken his 4th win of the season, making him the most wins out of the pro category. That is Peaceful Explosion's 6th, 2nd or 3rd. No, he didn't get a podium, sorry. Apologise. That is Little Leach's 5th, 2nd or 3rd place. And that is Sutty Apex's 2nd or 3rd place. Sutty's either won it or not got on the podium at all, apart from 2 other times. Little Leach 1 win to his name and 5 2nd or 3rds as well at the moment. Mazda 4 wins, 4 2nd or 3rds, 6 fastest laps, 5 pole positions. That is consistency. That's what wins you titles, being that consistent.
Yeah, obviously so many of them being wins. He's definitely the quickest guy in terms of raw pace in this pro series at Simplay Motorsport. I'm looking forward to seeing him against Jamie Brazier next season now. Runaway victor in last night's both races for the Pro-Am category, not doing as well in the championship as you would expect due to his internet connection being a little bit temperamental. But we were seeing at the moment coming out of the last round.
I tell you something we didn't say last night. We didn't mention Jamie's church. Oh, unbelievable. What a job they've done in the last couple of weeks to make sure Jamie Brazier's connection is right on cue. We forgot to mention it, so well done the Church of Jamie Brazier there.
Well, maybe they donated an Ethernet cable to him. Who knows?
Potentially so.
Whatever it is, I'm sure his fellow churchgoers have really done him a big favour there. Jamie Brazier looking actually quite good for the Pro-Am series. Guys, if you haven't tuned into the Pro-Am series, I know we tend to get a lot more viewers on this Pro series. We've got nearly 30 watching tonight. But guys, if you haven't seen the Pro-Am series, it is just as exciting as this. I know that these guys are the best of the best, but trust me, if you want to see some good racing action, check out the Pro-Am series next week on Wednesday evenings at 8 o'clock GMT, that's UK time. And yeah, because it's just as good. We see racing action that is on a par with these guys. Maybe not as quick, but certainly the racecraft very much on the same level.
Yeah, it's although they're a bit slower and not quite up to the pro level, we've got some cracking upcoming drivers like Liam Gamer took his first pole position in his 2nd podium of the season last night. And we've got him, Cam, Aidan Bennett, Rabbit Joe, some good up and coming drivers, as well as the old guns of Welshie, Stealth Sloth and Deeks, trying to battle it out with all the young guns in Pro-Am. So do check that one out, guys, because it is really good. Although they're not on the level of the Pro guys and the grid's not as full, they are absolutely worth the watch. Give them a check out next Wednesday, live at Monza, the first Italian race of 2 this season. And I tell you now, the weather next week is a bit fruity, but I'm not going to spoil it yet. I'll let you tune in next week for that one, because it is a bit fruity there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one very much. Currently got D Biggs sat. Oh, what's to say that? Fury goes P1 there, Matt. On 1 minute 40.6 now.
Oh, that's a good time.
Yeah, Fury always goes better in the second qualifying session than he does in the first. It takes him a little while to warm up, but he's very much getting there, and he's gone 1.4 seconds faster there. And this man, Kieran Argent, at the moment. Kieran Argent looks like he's just crossed over the line and couldn't improve on that lap. D Biggs currently sat in third, just ahead of Fury on the track. So, in fact, hold on, has Fury dropped off? Or made a mistake? No, sorry, that's the other.
That's Monkey Boy.
That's yeah, no, it's not. It's not even a.
It's not even an Audi. D Biggs in the Audi, Monkey Boy in the Acura.
So yeah, yeah. But AH has gone top of the leaderboard there. The man who was on the front row in the first qualifying session has put it on the provisional pole position here, 4/10 of a second ahead of Fury at the moment, so he is really on one. He's brought it into the pits. That is complacency for you, ladies and gentlemen. 5 minutes left to go in this session, and he's brought it in, so he feels like he's done enough at this point. Got Fury coming in towards the final section of the lap now. Did he get compromised at all by Monkey Boy on that lap? We'll have to wait and see. As Phil goes P3, 6/10 off of that pole time being set by AH. Kieran Argent coming up into the last corner now. Let's see what Fury's up to.
AH's the only man in qualifying 1 in the 139s that is allowed to qualify in this second one. So I'm surprised he's called that a day to 140, as a few of these guys can go quicker.
Flash of lights there from Fury to cross the line. He goes P1 with that one by just 0.04 of a second. Fury puts it atop of the leaderboard. Don't worry, Fury's going down. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. But absolutely brilliant time there from Fury. We've got AH still sat in second, so AH has gambled to stay in the pits. It's not paid off. He's coming out to try and eclipse that time that we've seen from Fury. Phil sat in P3 at this session. Kieran Argent's improved his time, but not by enough to move himself up the order. Stays P4. Only 0.03 of a second between Phil and Kieran Argent in third and fourth.
These two battled in race 1 as well, so they're quite close together tonight. One thing I want to say on this, sorry for interrupting, is Sutty's in the chat. Right. Sutty, are you a Sutty safety or are you a Sutty send it? Could you make your mind up now? You've got time to listen and comment on the chat. Could you let us know which one you are? Because we're so excited to see you send it and you're just not doing it. I will change the send it for the Liam Lunge and we'll call you the Sutty safety if you'd prefer. But either way, Andy's right. That's Dean all out of shape coming through turn 1. Dean currently quicker than Keegs, so I'm not sure what's happening with Keegs at the moment.
He's a safety.
He's a safety, says Pat. Says Peaceful Explosion.
I mean, in a way, I suppose.
Points, he says. No, not points. We want the Sutty send it here. We want the Sutty send it.
No, Matt, I was about to defend it. I was about to say, fair enough. Safety wins you championships. Being consistent.
He's doing the Colin Turkington, isn't he? The Colin Turkington sort of style. Phil is pole position by 0.07 of a second and hasn't been beaten, but is in the pits. Needs to get back out on track, surely. I tipped Phil at the beginning of this, and Fury's gone. Fury's brake late. No, that's D Biggs in the Audi. That's D Biggs in the Audi. Monkey Boy's the Acura.
Similar livery, sorry, do apologise.
Dean Wasocki's in the pits as well. As Phil thought he's done enough there. 0.07 of a second. We're not seeing AH. Dean, what are you doing?
I think, Matt, he was on a flying lap, to be fair.
No, he's just come out of the pit lane. It said pits next to his name a moment ago. Yeah, he's just came out of the pits. He's just came out of the pits. It said pit next to his name. He's just crossed the pit exit line, right? It's a good job Keegs was no closer, I tell you now. That may be looked at by the stewards at the end of this one. Who is in the pits? 1 minute 52 left. Phil still in the pits. So is Argent. They've got to get out now if they want any chance of getting that out lap in.
Done.
Yeah, Phil is done.
Done for the session.
Argent's still in the pit lane. He's not going to get another lap in here. He's left it too late. He's not coming out the pits. Oh, AH very twitchy there. Yeah,
trying to get his tyres warmed up, Matt. He's only got a minute and a half, so he wants to get them up to temperature before he gets to the end of the lap.
Argent's not going to get another lap in. I think he may have put that back in the pits.
A lot of wind that last time, says the only G.
Liam comments, I think I might be kind of liking the Liam lunge. Who's with me? I love the Liam lunge, especially after the one you did on Aidan Bennett last night. Oh. Andy's not seen the video, and for those of you who haven't seen the video, what I'm talking about is coming down to just towards this complex here. You've got the good long straight. Liam absolutely gave it some on the brakes as Aidan Bennett was pretty much round the corner and just T-boned him. The Liam lunge isn't necessarily a good thing, but either way, we'll keep it. Fury coming across the start line now. He's going to get another lap in as well. Cannot get the 7,000ths he needs. AH only 500ths off of the time as well of Phil. So we've got a lot of people close together here. Argent only 6/10 off, but we know he's not going to get another time in. AH, he's going to cross the line now. And what is he going to do here?
Not too far. Only 500ths of a second off the car, and he's a 10th down. So close. Almost getting it at the top of the leaderboard there. Very, very close to putting it on the top spot. But AH just missing out. He needs to find 2/10 on this final run. So it's fine margins at the moment, Matt. It's very doable.
We've got some brilliant suggestions. We've got the Dan Dive from Unorthodox in the chat. Jamie Brazier's, what's the one for me?
Dan Dive doesn't have the same ring to it.
Brazier's broken internet, Jamie. I think that's all we can give you. I don't see what else we can give you. Brazier, bye-bye, because you just leave everyone behind, says Michael Matthews. That's brilliant. The Priest says that. Liam Gamer says the Priest for Jamie Brazier. I actually quite like that. Oh, Fury's binned it. 7,000ths of a second he needed, but he's binned it. The only people left on track is Keegs, D Biggs, Monkey Boy, and Dean Wisocki. Keegs, not the first man to do a lap, so it could be the Acoras and the Audi. Not quite sure who's coming up to the top. Keegs 2/10 up here. That would take him close to moving up above Argent. Yeah. Who's the two in front of him? That is D Biggs, and Monkey Boy will be the first one to cross the line. So Dean Wisocki, last man to finish. D Biggs will be the second man to finish. Can Monkey Boy gain any time here? He's currently 2.3 down on the pole lap at the minute. He needs 1 second to go above the man behind him, but he's giving D Biggs a hell of a tow. Does Monkey Boy improve? He does! He's gone within 9/10 and D Biggs goes P5. Where's Keegs going to slot in? We saw him 2/10 up a moment ago. What's he going to do as he crosses the line? A second separates the top 7. Keegs goes back to P5. What can Dean Wisocki do? He needs a good 2 seconds here for everybody to be within a second of each other. What a qualifying time this is. Dean Wisocki's going to cross the line now. I don't think he's going to gain that much, to be fair. He's not looked quick tonight. And we'll never know, I suppose. Well, we'll know in a moment. Dean Wisocki, he gained a 10th. Gained a 10th here, but nowhere near. The top 7 separated by pretty much 1 second. Phil takes pole position by 7,000ths of a second. 500ths from AH. Absolute close between them three. AH was my tip. The only man in the 39s in Q1 that is able to qualify for this one and hasn't. Unbelievable that is.
Yeah, it's so close between these guys. I can't believe it. It's going to be a great race, and also it's going to be very interesting to see the so-called faster guys coming back through the pack. We've got Sutty,
one
Mazda,
thing I was about to say, G and Mazda start P9 and 10, so Mazda's got quite lucky. We know normally on a Wednesday night, Jamie Brazier sometimes will end up being put randomly at the bottom. The bottom guys get randomly generated into the session anyway, and they just sort of fall there. So Mazda's come away with a P10 ahead of Unorthodox, Peaceful Explosion, and Sutty and Little Eat. So he's actually quite fortunate there to be in the position that he's in there, to be fair. We are just waiting for our social media person to do the social media. He's ready, so we are ready to go and get everything sorted.
Yeah, guys, just want to reiterate, if you are watching live on YouTube and on the Simplay Motorsport YouTube channel, then make sure you drop a like on this video. We've got 24 people watching. That means that 10 people have still not dropped a like, so please, guys, please, before we start the race, before we get this underway, let's drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and we should have a great race here tonight. Just half a tenth separating the top 3 guys, Phil, Fury and AH. It's so tight at the front. Let us know in the comments who your pick is for the victory in this one. But Matt, who are we going to go for? Who are we back in?
Do you know something? I fancy AH from 3rd.
AH
sat P3, row 2. If he can get a good start, we know he's got pace. Now with with Mazda and Sutty and Peaceful and them guys at the back, I fancy AH here. You?
Yeah, AH was second on the grid in the first race. The race didn't really go to plan for him, though. I think he got damage at the start. Me personally, it's, to be honest, I'm going to go for G. Just an outside bet.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, obviously, co-admin, co-owner over at Motive, so I've got to give him some support, and he did a good job in that race one. He had pace near the end of the race, so he's got the potential there. He just needs to get it hooked up. He can have a clean couple of laps, and also he's the highest starting of the guys who couldn't qualify. So he's sort of in the box seat out of those guys. He just needs to make sure that he keeps it clean and makes some decent progress here in the first few laps.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. We are just waiting for everybody to to ready up. Fury's granddad in the chat. Phew, dodged a bullet there, Fury. I wonder what that means, Andy.
I wonder what Fury's granddad's alluding to there. But we're almost about to go lights out here at Fuji Speedway for round 14 of the season here at Simplay Motorsport in the GT3 Pro Series. And this lights out will be on the way. And it is lights out, and it's a good start there on the left-hand side from Fury. Gets away slightly better than Phil. It looks like we've already got something to go. Oh, bit of collision in the background there. Kieran Arjun and AH already coming together. It looks like we've got Adakura in the pit wall there, and it's massive amounts of contact in the background. Peaceful explosion.
That's D-Big's round.
That's D-Bag's round, and that's unorthodox and Sutty Apex to the back of the field. G's already up into 6th place here at the start of this race, but Phil leads the way.
Oh, the teammates! The two Akura teammates was leaning on each other there. I apologise, Andy. Monkey Boy and Dean lean on each other. One's round in the background. Mazda's down to P12. Kieran gave a bit of a tap to A8 here. Mazda is around! Oh, no! Oh, D-Biggs!
Clash between D-Biggs and Mazda. It looked like Mazda may have been making a slightly unsafe rejoin in the path of D-Biggs, and to be fair, that was both of their fault because D-Biggs was very slow to react. I think Mazda's fault for unsafely rejoining and D-Biggs just for not reacting.
I want to know what's happened. I want to know what's happened with Keegs and Kieran Argent. They was running 3rd and 4th at one stage. They're now down to 10th and 12th. G's up into P3. Sutty Apex and Little Each. Little Each has no lights there. What's happening? Peaceful's had a bad start. I can't believe this race 2 has brought dramas on lap 1 already. Phil leads from Fury. G's up to 3rd. Sutty into 5th. AH 4th. Little Each 6th place. Monkey Boy up to 8th after leaning on his teammate. Dean Wasocki looked all over the place, put Biggs in the pit wall, and then that's what sent Biggs across the track. And he's also lent on his teammate Monkey Boy. There could be a steward's inquiry against Dean Wasocki for an unsafe join on the pits in qualifying, and now there could be a steward's inquiry about his racing. I tell you what, this is not going the way Dean wanted it to tonight. Mazda's had a spin, we didn't see what happened there, but this man G on debut is up into P3, and could you think of a better time to take your first race win? Although he did say he's not scoring points for the season, he's just here for the fun, looking into season 2. People in the pits already with bad damage and don't have lights on, so they've got a pitch with no lights as well. Oh, gee, I thought it was round there.
Yeah, he gets some big tank stuff on the exit there, but what a start from G. That is unbelievable. He's gone from back of the field up to 3rd place at the start of the race, stayed out of trouble, kept his nose clean, and he's right on the back of Fury and Phil in this battle for the lead. Currently these three guys pulling away from the rest of the pack. There's a second separating these 3 guys. Fury has managed to get that lead off of Phil on the first lap. Looks like G's looking to the outside of Phil. Is he going to have to move? Dunn coming into turn 4. Phil tries to run out of road, but G's going to squeeze by. Goes a bit wide on the exit, and Phil just about runs him out of road there. Keeps onto that P2 position, which is going to give Fury a little bit of breathing space here up ahead of them. AH currently running in 4th. There's a bit of time for these guys at the front. Sutty's got himself into 5th place, so not too bad of a first couple of laps here from Sutty Apex, but nothing on this man G, who has made absolutely rapid progress here at the start of this race, trying to get around Phil if he can, looking right, looking left, trying to squeeze underneath him, but he can't quite get it done at the moment. Phil is defending this very nicely for the time being.
Mazda, just jump on Mazda for me, because I don't think his lights are working due to the incident, but Keegs was in the pit lane, so Mazda could not pit here, so Mazda's got to do another lap with no lights. He's got to get in and get them lights repaired as soon as possible. I'm not sure what has happened. Peaceful explosion in the chat. 40 on the front, 40 suspension damage, hit by Dean. I tell you what, Dean could be in for a massive steward's inquiry. Look at the slipstream G's got. 2 slipstreams here. And look at Phil. They are dying. I'll tell you what, that'll be a lovely photo finish, that would, wouldn't it? But G is trying to pressure Phil. Phil looking up the inside of Fury already. Keegs and D-Biggs now a lap down. Peaceful's nearly a lap down as well.
This back marker could play havoc with these guys as they come onto the brakes, and G goes a little bit deeper.
Oh, Phil!
He pushes Phil a little bit wide. Phil up onto the tarmac, and that's given Fury the lead of the race back again. but G went a little bit late on the brakes, missed his braking point just very slightly. He doesn't seem to feel like he was at fault because he's continued on his merry way. So I don't know, it might possibly have been just
I think it was a I think it looked.
them.
I just looked back on the stream and it looked a 50-50. To be fair, it just looked like G couldn't get it slowed down, and Phil maybe caught him by surprise as well.
Yeah, not really G's fault there.
No, nothing intentional. I'd say by that. I don't think G meant it, and I don't think Phil will feel too hard done by there. I think it was a 50-50 challenge. I'm sure we all know G, and G, I'm sure, would be very respectful to give him the place back. Had anything happened there. Kieran Argent and Mazda have had to wait till lap 2 to get in the pits and now get to pit. Little Leach, peaceful explosion have pitted. So's D-Biggs and Keegs. Not the race, the championship. New championship leader, Dean again, but going to the steward, says Mazda in the replay. So Dean Wasocki, could he be facing more penalty points here? A lot of people say from it. G has taken the lead off of Fury then. Peaceful, that is a lap down in front of him. Phil wanting to get back on the back of Fury. Don't forget, this will be a race win for Phil. Even if G wins this race, his teammate is P4. So the massive thing for the championship here could go Sooty Apex's way. We'll see. Unorthodox, great start from him. He was at the back as P5. Monkey Boy and Dean 6th and 7th, but everybody else behind them have pitted. And I tell you what, it looks like that man on screen then, Dean Wasocki, is going to the steward's room after this one.
Yeah, once again, Dean's been getting involved in scuffles and altercations that he just doesn't need to be and shouldn't be getting involved in. He's down in 7th place, and Mazda very unhappy with what's been going on at the start of this race. But what a start from this man D. 3 laps into this race, and he's got himself up into the lead.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he's got himself up into 1st place. Fantastic start, and he's currently pulling away from Fury at the front just a little bit.
Oh, a bit of a wiggle there. Oh, a bit of a wiggle.
Oh yeah, Fury though, he's keeping him honest. And he's got right back onto the back of him there, just as I was bigging him up. You know the commentator's curse, we don't want to big him up too much. But Sooty Apex has surely got to be eyeing this up as an opportunity, because Mazda is going to be picking up very few points in this race. Sooty's got to take this opportunity with both hands.
Andy, this one intrigues me quite a lot, because Sooty here and his teammate are close together in the championship. Phil is 70 points off the lead, Sooty's 57. Sorry, that's overall. Let me get the drop score championship up. Sooty is 38 behind, Phil is 64 after the drop scores. Do team orders come into play with only 7 rounds remaining? Is Sooty going to be given the go-ahead to pass Phil if he gets close enough to him? That is the one I'm intrigued to look at. It's going to be interesting to see, I reckon.
You would imagine, because Sooty is a man who's in contention for that championship, obviously with Mazda and Gary being out of this one. I imagine Sooty will probably jump Gary in the championship standings as well. So it's going to be very much... the pressure's all, in a way, is very much on Sooty Apex, because he knows that this is his opportunity where he has to deliver, and if he doesn't, then he will just always look back at this round and say, this is where I could have clawed back some points. So he's currently sat in 4th place at the moment. He's 7 seconds off of the lead of G, losing a bit of time to G and Fury. G has just pulled out an absolute worldie of a lap on that previous lap, and when you consider that G also had that tank staffer coming through turn 3, still did a 39.7 despite losing at least half a second.
And what you're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, is the only G on doing what he does best. This is what he does best. He gets a reverse grid race, and I've seen this many a time at Motive Racing when I commentate there. He gets a reverse grid race, starts by the back of the grid, and he comes through the field. Everybody seems to have dramas around him, but this man seems to find a way through. It's like Days of Thunder at the end, where he just guns it to the floor and he gets that gap through the cloud of smoke and he appears through the other side fine. That is what G is like, peaceful, respectively moving out the way of G and Fury, and will soon be coming lapped. Well, he got the damage, didn't he? He commented in the stream, 40 on the front and 40 suspension, so lapped already. Mazda's not too far from being lapped as well. Mazda being lapped. Who'd have thought that after race 1? Nobody would have guessed that, would they?
Take a photo, guys, if it happens. Oh my goodness! I tell you what, it's that'd be one for the photo albums if Mazda were to end up being lapped by G. But yeah, it's just been an absolute horror show of a start to the new championship, to this race for the new championship leader. Everything seems to have gone wrong in this race. He had damage. He's just had a horror show of a start to the race, and he's got both headlights working now, so it looks like he did incur some lengthy repairs, but thankfully he's all good now. Where can he get up to in this race? That's the big question. He's got Little Leach 16 seconds up the road in 10th. Kieran Argent is 22 seconds ahead of him. AH is 28 seconds ahead of him. And these guys having all pitted, so AH, Argent and Little Leach all technically ahead of Mazda for track position. It's going to be a long way back here from Mazda, I'll tell you that. Yeah, even Dean Wisocki would come out ahead of him were Dean to pit at this particular moment, so it is certainly not going to be an easy race for Mazda. He's got his work cut out in this one.
He's got a lot of work to do. Fury actually quicker than G last time around by 0.3 of a second. Phil matching to G's time, and I said would Sutty gain on the back of Phil and team orders come into play. He's not done yet, so Sutty hanging on to P4. Unorthodox, don't really mention much of Unorthodox, and Monkey Boy sat P5 and 6 at the moment. Don't forget Monkey Boy early on got lent on by his teammate coming around turn 3, so I don't know what Dean was doing in the early stages of this race. Put D-Biggs in the wall. We saw him lean on his teammate on the stream, but then we didn't see him at Mazda and Peaceful Explosion. D-Biggs, unfortunate for him, he didn't get to race 1, and he got punted in the pit wall by Dean Wisocki, and then ended up catching Mazda in a bit of a move he could have avoided, if you ask me. I'm not saying Mazda should have pulled across the track. I'm blaming both guys for that one, but yeah, he's struggling, and he's really struggling in that Audi, and it's a shame. It's nice to see D-Biggs back. I've raced with him before in a couple of series previously earlier this year, so it's nice to have D-Biggs in. He came in at Spa. Can he avoid that drop zone? He only needs, to be fair, just a couple of points to go above Dean Wisocki, 12 points to go above Dean Wisocki to then get out that drop zone and be safe for next season. That's the one that interests me at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, bottom 3 obviously do get dropped, and well, it's looking like Dean Wisocki's going to pick up some good points actually at this rate. Having said that, though, he's got to pit, and obviously under a steward's inquiry for this unsafe pit exit, maybe a steward's inquiry for a few incidents as well. So we'll see what happens at the moment. But running good in 7th, you know, he's got to pit. He'll possibly come out behind Little Leach, maybe that's a bit harsh. Maybe behind Kieran Argent, 22 seconds is that gap. Is where he'll come out behind Kieran Argent, and maybe in front of Little Leach. There is Kieran Argent. As Dean's breaking into turn 1, Kieran's come out of the final corner. So yeah, we'll have to see. Everybody pretty much lapping in the 41. Sorry, Mazda quickest man on track last time. Oh no, AH has just gone into the 1 minute 40s then. Mazda obviously not quite on the same lap as these guys. Who'd have thought after race 1 Mazda would be 1 minute 17 behind the Only G. In fact, 1 minute 15 behind Fury, and possibly about to be lapped soon. That's crazy. Yeah. He will be absolutely determined, I'm sure, not to get lapped. And what you've got to remember is that he has been into the pits already. G hasn't. So obviously, once G's come into the pits, Mazda's not even going to be nearly a lap down in this race. But it's the spectacle, isn't it? I suppose it's the shock of seeing somebody of Mazda's caliber, the championship leader, the man who ran away with race 1, being in a position where he's. You know, the guy who's in the lead has done kind of one more lap than it. Yeah, you know what I mean, it's a shock.
I mean, where's Little Leach on track at the moment? Mazda's coming towards. That's turn 2. Mazda's at, not Little Leach. Sorry, where is the Only G? The Only G's on lap 8, and is down at just coming up towards turn 2. And Mazda will probably be at what, turn 4, maybe on the straight, heading down towards turn 5 now. Yeah, it's just gone around turn 4. Look. And he's heading down towards straight down towards turn 5 now. So there's that much in it between Mazda and Fury. And this is the thing, you know, I know he's got caught up in an incident, and the thing was, turn 1 was always going to be a corner, Andy, that you've got to sort of brake early for and be cautious, especially on the opening race. We've got 14 cars on the grid. Let's not forget for race 2. We've lost Emo Guy, we've not got Gary. 14 cars. You cannot be going silly on the race down to such a sharp corner turn 1. It doesn't bode well for Monza next week, let's be honest.
No, it certainly doesn't. And Monza next week is going to have to be so careful, because it's ridiculously easy to get onto the grass coming into that braking zone. As soon as you do, you're a passenger. You're heading straight to the scene of the accident, and you can take a lot of cars with you. So, yeah, fingers crossed, especially with full damage on.
And I tell you now, especially in the conditions we're expecting.
It was ridiculous. What we saw with Dean moving across towards the pit wall. I mean, I don't want to make any prejudgments. You know, anything could have happened. But I'm not saying it was Dean, but whatever happened there, I mean, it was ridiculous, because, you know, there's no excuse for that type of thing. And whoever it was that triggered that, I'm not saying it was Dean, I just saw Dean ending up in the pit wall with DBX.
No, 100%. Oh, has G made a mistake?
Can't be happening.
Has G made a mistake? Because he's dropped to P3. Oh, he's in the pit. No, he's in the pits. He's in the pits.
We're getting excited there for a minute.
I thought he made a mistake. I just saw him dropping down the leaderboard. I thought he'd made a mistake, but no, he's in the pit lane then at the moment. So Fury leads.
Could have been a development.
It could have been. Fury leads from Phil, then Sooty Apex P3. Unorthodox is going to come past and gain P4. And Phil is about to lap Peaceful Explosion. Peaceful, another one who has been lapped by Fury, close to being lapped by Phil. Oh, Unorthodox just getting it wrong at turn 1.
Yeah, getting a little bit onto the grass, just coming a cropper down the inside of the corner. He's got Monkey Boy not too far behind him, but Unorthodox is not doing too badly at the moment here in this race. Not really been on the pace like we saw at Bruno a couple of weeks ago, though. No,
and I want to give Unorthodox a shout out. When I spoke to him, he said he dislikes this track. He doesn't feel it suits the Porsche. It doesn't suit his driving style, and he's done a good job. He got a P5 in race 1. He's 4th at the minute, and also Monkey Boy. We've not seen much of Monkey Boy at the moment because of the Acura not doing great things this season. But what a day this guy's had. He got P7 in the first qualifying, not the best of first races. Got a good last lap in at the qualifying to put him, I think, 6th or 7th again. And we're seeing here, I know there's been incidents, but he's P5 and he's, doing a cracking job. Alright, he's a net 6th place because G's pitted. But Monkey Boy, hats off to him. We've not seen enough of him this year. And I do believe he is doing the hot lap for us at Algarve in 2 weeks' time. So stay tuned for that one. But hats off to Monkey Boy. He's not had the coverage he's deserved this season. And I think, when I spoke to him last week ahead of the Motive Simplay race, he wasn't happy with the Acura, didn't like the car choice, went with it because Dean wanted it. I think he feels that the car doesn't suit Monkey Boy down to the ground.
Well, next season, Monkey Boy's going to have to consider a new teammate because it does look like Dean Bisocchi might be facing that drop down to the program. I mean, it's early doors at the moment, but it's very much possible. Yeah, no, it is. It really is.
I mean, Monkey Boy could yet drop as well. We just don't know. He's not scoring great points. He's only on 79 points. And when you think of that Unorthodox joined at Spa, he's on 61 after the drop scores. When Monkey Boy has had a drop score of none, same as Unorthodox, as Monkey Boy comes into the pits, end of lap 9. It's not the points he'd have wanted at all. So G back into 5th place. Dean goes into 6th, and Phil has got the lead over 2.5 seconds ahead of Fury. So Fury must have made a big mistake somewhere where I was praising Monkey Boy and Unorthodox. Phil then leads by 2.5 seconds. AH has passed Monkey Boy. So AH, the first of the early stoppers, has managed to gain a position. So has Kieran Argent. He's also gained a position. So has Little Leach. Where is Monkey Boy then? Is Mazda going to gain one? I'm not 100% sure. Monkey Boy, he's still in the pits. Mazda will definitely have Monkey Boy here. One man who might not, though, is Peaceful Explosion. So I said he'd done good work, but a long pit stop there for Monkey Boy has cost him several places. Peaceful, I think he's going to be too far back to get him here. Phil, though, coming around to start lap 11 of this race. Peaceful Explosion just going to start lap 10. So not the race Peaceful wanted.
No, Phil's got a gap of 30 seconds. Oh, it looks like G must have made a mistake because he's now 37 seconds.
Oh, dear.
Oh, he's lost the position. Dean's got up ahead of him.
Who was that off just then? Was that Dean off? Dean. Yeah, Dean. And he's in the wall again. What is Dean doing here? Not quite sure. And he's just letting the car roll.
What is happening here?
Oh, he's retired. And will score no points in this race. He's retired the car.
I'm scratching my head at that one.
Same here. He needs the points.
He's starting to get some good points positions. What's he doing that for?
He needs good points here, and he's going to score no points at all then. Right, I'm looking at the drop scores now. This is Dean's worst round of 4 points. This will now be his drop score, but I just don't get that. Surely when you're fighting a relegation battle, you need every point you can get. I don't get why he's done that, but he's retired. He's going to score no points. He's facing a steward's inquiry anyway, so that will affect the steward's inquiry as well at the end of this one in terms of the decision, because he can't penalise a time penalty to someone who's not finished the race. So we will have to see what happens. But Dean has retired from this race then. So either way, that will promote everybody up a place. And Mazda now inside the top 10. Don't forget, everybody gains a place over G as well. So everybody who finishes behind G gains a place. As he said, he doesn't want to score points with the fact the title is nearly done. As far as I'm aware, we could see G a permanent fixture on the grid next season. Kieran Argent's in the pits for a second time here. So not the night he's been wanted. We could see G on the grid. Andy, you announced last night you could be on the grid for the Pro-Am Series. as the grid would be full in the Pro Series. Could we, if G came as well, you know, this could be a really exciting start to next season.
Yeah, well, the Pro-Am Series, I'm willing to cut my teeth in. You know, obviously you've got to start somewhere, and if the Pro Series is full, then that's going to have to be the entry point. But I'm looking forward to getting involved in some GT3 action. It's been a while since I've raced in a GT3 league. I raced in Motif's GT3s back in its second season, but since then I've been commentating on it pretty much solidly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into these cars on Project Cars too. Race them a bit on ACC, but I certainly do enjoy racing that Lamborghini, and it's going to be really exciting for me to finally get back in behind the wheel.
It'll be good to have you on the track here at Simplay Motorsport. Sooty Apex is in the pits then, and can G manage to get in front of Sooty Apex will be the question for me, because G, we still have a bit of a problem. Yeah, he's well, oh no, Sooty's out the pits. Where is Sooty? Is that Sooty's lights? I think we can see to the left of screen. Indeed it is. So Sooty has jumped G. So G must have made a massive problem then. Sooty has jumped him then in the pit lane. Now obviously G's not scoring points. He's racing here for a bit of fun to test maybe a couple of cars, or unless this is the car he will probably be racing next year. I'm not sure. But it's nice to see new boys out on the grid, especially when you get a multiple world record holder. And G battling it up there. And if he does start the season next year with us as well, it'll be fun to have him. He could be one to watch next season in the pro category, Andy.
Oh, 100%. And so that's a good job from Sooty there, managing to get that overcut. But it looks like he's got a slowdown there. He's let G go. So G up into some clean air, presumably a slowdown penalty for Sooty there on the exit of turn 4 out towards turn 5. So yeah, it's good news side to him though, Matt, next season to see G in that pro category. I ideally hope to only spend one season in that Pro-Am category, so I can challenge G in that pro category as soon as possible. But yeah, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy getting promotion in that Pro-Am series. There are a lot of very fast guys in there.
Yeah.
But G next season, the pro category, yeah, it's going to be very exciting. He's showing he's got the talent and the potential to bring the fight to these guys. Indeed he is. And Sooty has got back in front of the only G then. So I wonder when Phil and Fury pit. Also waiting to pit is Emo Guy. Sorry, he's not in this race, is he? Fury's still not pitted. Phil's still not pitted. Neither has Dean Wasaki, but he's retired. Neither has Unorthodox then as well. So the top three, the only guys left to pit on track. Where will they come out? Fury is starting to gain on Phil. Oh no, he's round! Oh no! He's done well to hold that. He's done well to pirouette that one.
No, Fury.
Fury's granddad, I tried my best not to put my curse on him, but he's lost the car there, and he's dropped 3.5 seconds to Phil at the front of the field. So that's definitely what Fury wouldn't have wanted. He was lapping a 0.4 of a second a lap quicker than the race leader, but you know, he's still got time in this race to come back. But obviously 5 laps still left to go, so you know there'll be opportunities for him to bring himself back into play for this race victory. These two looking very good to fight out the victory though, because G and Sooty currently battling it out 4th and 5th. They're a long way behind. These two, Phil and Fury, have definitely got a pit stop in hand over those two, G and Sooty. And Fury's into the pits.
Yeah, Fury's into the pits. What interests me about this battle is as well, Fury keeping it, lost out to Phil earlier in the pit, earlier in the race, but has then gained time back to catch him, and we saw that little spin there. But I tell you what, he's going to be one to watch when Phil has his pit stop, and let's see if the pit stops go to plan for Fury and Phil. The top three then still the only guys not to pit at the moment, and it could be an exciting one here to see who's going to come out on top.
That's it. One thing, I know Ian's had to retire from this race too, unfortunately, due to he's had to go and deal with a family issue. But if I think he's asking if he could join the commentary box for an interview.
Get him in the comms box. Get him in the comms box. We'll have a quick chat with Ian. We've not spoke to Ian on the Simplay channel before, so we'll get Ian in for a quick. Ian yourself on a tier.
Yeah, we had quite an interesting trio act on Tuesday night, didn't we? That was good fun actually. Before me and Ian and I raced in the tier 1 race following that, and yeah, we had a good time, and it was also a really fun race. We were commentating a lot on this man here, Unorthodox, who was in the fight for the lead for a lot of that race. In the end, he got taken out by a back marker with a couple of laps to go, dropped him out of the equation. But yeah, very much enjoyed that. It'd be good to get Ian's thoughts on not just his own race tonight, but also on what he thinks is about to happen or unfold here because his teammate Fury has just come out of the pits in third, just a couple of seconds ahead of G. So Fury is ahead of G and Sutty out on the track now. The question is, can he jump Phil?
Phil is in the pits now. Phil has just pitted, and I tell you what, this is going to be interesting.
Ian, what do you reckon Fury's chances of the win?
Oh, you know, from what I've seen for the past few laps, he has been very consistent. He actually closed the gap to Phil just before he spun it there, so he did. So, you know, I think if he continues with the consistency, he definitely could be able to have a chance of winning here.
Well, just as you say that, Ian, if Phil gets an absolutely perfect pit stop there, his crew really have pulled out the stop quite literally here. And what is Fury about to do now? We can see Phil just emerging on the exit of the pit lane. Where is Fury's crossing? He's not even at the start-finish line yet.
No.
So I think Phil's going to come out in some clear air. Fury will have some quite considerable closing speeds. We see a battle in the background. It looks like G's put a lap.
Yeah,
put a lap there.
G lapping Kieran Argent. I thought Kieran Argent was trying to unlap himself there. I'm not quite sure. Scotland in the house says Welsh. So Welsh is happy that you're here, Ian, and it's nice to have you in the Simplay commentary box.
Fury, though. Gap between Phil and Fury currently 4 seconds with 4 laps to go. So
this is going to be an interesting battle.
Yeah, he could get there.
It's going to be a very interesting battle, and it's a shame we couldn't get Ian in, because if Ian was able to race, and we saw good pace from these guys in these Nissans in race 1, and I tell you what, Fury, you say it at Motive a lot, Andy, it looks good in race 2s, and he's doing exactly that here.
He is. Fury always has one good race. In fact, I think, if I'm right in thinking, he mentioned the other day he's never taken a double podium in any race ever. He usually has one good race and then one catastrophic race. I don't know whether you've noticed this, Ian. Obviously, being Fury's teammate, he tends to really turn it up for the sprint race, either the sprint race or the feature, but struggles in the other one.
Indeed.
Yeah, especially. Sorry, I want to go.
No, go on, Ian.
I was just it's very good to see him performing as well as he is right now in a car that he's not 100% comfortable with, especially in the testing, as he's currently getting really close with only G.
Oh, we see Monkey Boy back in the pits. Apologies, we see Monkey Boy back in the pits, and we said earlier Irish race was going really well. It's not now, bless him. He's had a poor night, but will score points for Flatline Motorsport in the Teams Championship. What this will do for Fury, I will say now, is it will kind of put him out closer to being out that bottom 3 running, with D-Biggs not scoring well, Monkey Boy not scoring well, and Dean Wysocki not scoring at all. This really gives Fury the chance to stay in the pro category, bearing in mind it is going to be reviewed between the guys that came in at Spa. So an Orthodubs, Emo Guy, Fury and D Biggs all came in a bit late, but he could get out of the bottom 3 on merit, and he's driven fantastic, like Ian said. Doesn't really like the GTR, has came in with Ian as a teammate, and you just see him growing in this car week by week.
Yeah, you do. He's just getting better and better, and he looks like he's pulled out a bit of a gap to G so far on this lap. He's got 3 seconds up the road to Phil, but with only 2.5 laps left to go in this one, it's going to take a hell of a job for Fury to get up into that.
Oh, G's lost it!
G's got sideways on the exit of the chicane. Well, not even in the exit, in the middle part of the chicane, and he's falling back into the clutches of Sutty, but he's just got it going before Sutty was putting up onto the back of him. So now this is very much a 2-horse race between Phil and Fury. Currently 3 seconds separating these boys.
Do you know something, Andy? I just want to say, we was on about earlier about Sutty trying to get in on the back of Phil and maybe team orders coming into play for the title. Sutty's not had the pace in this second race to gain on Phil at all. He's not.
Phil's been top dog.
Yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant in the second race. We haven't seen the Sutty from the first race. I mean, him and Little Each are going to gain on Mazda a little bit, but Phil, has he just put himself back into contention here?
Possibly, very much so, as we see 3 seconds separating Phil and Fury. Unorthodox leading the race, but he's still got to come in. He will have to come in at the end of this lap, otherwise he will get faced a disqualification from the race. So it's very much down to these two, Phil and Fury, and you see 2.5 seconds now the gap. Fury's just eating away, but is it too little too late? Possibly for this man.
It's now about
P1.
It's now down to who makes the littlest, fewest mistakes possible. I don't think the gap's. I think the gap's too big to maybe doing 2 laps, because catching's one thing, passing's another. I think it's who makes the fewest mistakes here. Phil makes a couple of big mistakes. Fury's got him. If Fury makes 1 or 2 mistakes, then that's race over for him.
Saying that, I think that all Phil needs to make a mistake is to have Fury within striking distance.
Oh yeah,
Fury
100%. Just that bit of pressure.
That's part of pressure. Yeah, exactly. And,
yeah, just that bit of pressure.
In the second. So anything can happen here in the last couple of laps.
And let's not forget, this is for a win, Andy, as well. So that bit of pressure mounts even more. I don't think Phil has taken a win this season. I know Fury obviously hasn't. Just looking at my stats, Phil has never taken a win. He's been on the podium 4 times, but never on the top step. So this is a first for both of these drivers. It'll be a first podium for Fury either way. Sutty, with unorthodox having to pit this lap, Sutty looks like he's going to be safe for a podium. I know Gio finished there on merit, but obviously with him not scoring points, Sutty will then gain that podium. And unorthodox trying the DJ Phil pit strategy again. Has he done enough to jump Sutty? I don't think so. Could be close if he has a bad pit stop actually between unorthodox and Little Each, excuse me. So Phil on the last lap. Yeah, Phil on the last lap inherits the lead.
Yeah, last time around Phil actually took 4/10 back off of Fury, so in fact no he didn't, sorry, Fury gained half a second on him, but I don't think it's going to be possible for Fury to gain 2 seconds in one lap. Phil has surely got this in the bag unless he makes some kind of mistake, but so far this race Phil has just been pretty seamless. He's kept going consistently, out and out performer throughout the entirety of this race too. We spoke earlier on, as you said Matt, quite ironically about the idea of Sutty being waved through in regards to the championship battle, which he is considerably higher up in than his teammate Phil, but Phil went out and took this race by the horns. You know, he wanted this one for himself. He has made the gap and he's currently got P1. He's looking very good for the victory. He's coming up on some traffic, but I don't think he's going to reach it before we get to the checkered flag. What a performance from Phil.
Yeah.
He has really pulled a rabbit out of the hat here in this race too, and barring any major catastrophes in the last part of this race, I think he's home and hosed here.
With Sutty getting past unorthodox and Little Each getting past unorthodox in the pits, that's really helped them out in terms of the championship. Sutty will get 3rd place points and Little Each 4th. Mazda will only score 6th place points in this one. So damage limitations, look, he's done well. Look at where he was 2nd to last going in at the end of the first lap. So damage limitations for Mazda, and he's come back to P7 and has done absolute bits. But you cannot take anything away from Fury and Phil. Fury has Gerrit his all that gap down to just over 2 seconds there. Keegs has been lapped, so we'll finish a lap down. But Phil has driven superbly then and will take his first win here at Simplay Motorsport. Take nothing away from Fury as well. He drove a cracking race and a great battle. Both of them flashing their lights. Fury loves a good flash, I tell you now. G will come home P3 on merit, but Sutty Apex will gain the points of 3rd place man. So a good result for G on his debut tonight at Simplay Motorsport. Nearly said Motive Racing then.
One thing I do want to say about G is that he actually has been doing most of I believe it's roughly just over the last quarter of this race without 6th gear.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He hit the wall and it could not, this car just did not want to engage in 6th gear.
Interesting, but hats off to him for sticking it out.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic drive from G when you consider how compromised this car would have been in the later part of that race. Little Each comes over in 5th, Sutty Apex obviously was 4th. Little Each 5th, unorthodox comes over, a P6 for him, not too bad, but not the performance that he had at Brno a couple of weeks ago. Mazda 7th, Peaceful Explosion crossing the line now in 8th place. He was way down at the start of the race, but he's somewhat got it together. AH, what has gone on in the races tonight? He's had so much pace in the qualifying sessions, but the races, Matt, they just haven't fallen for him.
They haven't fallen for him at all, and it is a shame as well because he's driven beautifully in qualifying, but the results elsewhere just haven't dropped his way. Does claim 8th place points, and that should keep him out of that relegation battle. But hats off to Phil. Fastest lap, we take away G's, I think will probably be Mazda if I'm going to be right, 40.4. Little Each 40.42, Mazda 40.49. So yeah, no, actually Keegs 40.3. Takes the fastest lap of the race. So Keegan getting fastest lap there, so brilliant stuff for him. Just trying to tally up the points, that's that.
Well, Fury's still within a second of that, and that's, like I said before, that's in a car that he's never driven before, he's not comfortable with, and he's still within that second.
And it's testament to how Fury's put the work in this car, and it's been absolutely fantastic stuff. Great little win there. One thing I am just going to do is I'm just going to quickly check the final standings after the drop score for you guys before we go off of air. And what this will do to the championship, I don't know, but let's have a quick look. So Mazda leads the way by 18 points from Gary 131. Then Little Leach is back at it, 29 points. Sooty has overtaken Peaceful Explosion and is 33 points behind Mazda, with Peaceful Explosion 39. Phil, 40 points off the back of Mazda then. Dean Wasocki is now 8 points clear of D-Biggs after D-Biggs had a bit of a poor race. What this has meant is that Emo Guy and Fury, not really much of a surprise, cannot win the title anymore. I'm sure you're gutted, Ian.
Well, me and Fury even said to each other when we first started racing here that we weren't really just going for the championships. We knew we wouldn't get it, so we just thought, we'll come in, have get used to the swing of things, try and get as many points as we can, have some fun.
Yeah, no, 100%, and it's been brilliant to have you guys here. What you have done though is you are moving up the team's championship rankings, although you cannot win that neither. D-Biggs and Dean Wasocki and Unorthodox pretty, in fact, and Monkey Boy as well will be out of it come the end of Monza pretty much as well. So the lead, Andy, 18 points going into next week.
That's it, and well, Mazda didn't have the race he'd have wanted in that race too, but he got it together pretty well at the end there, recovered to 7th place. Actually a fantastic drive from Mazda when you look at his fastest lap of 140.4, so you've got to give it hats off to him. He didn't have the best of starts to the race, but he kept his head down, didn't let that affect him too much. It's going to be a fantastic championship battle coming into the final. What is it? The final 4 races.
Final 3 tracks, 3 rounds left. Monza, Algarve, and Imola. So 6 rounds left.
6 races.
Sorry to cut you off here, but it would appear that actually G got the fastest lap of a 1:39.7.
Oh yeah, but with G not scoring the points, I mean, 'cause he said he doesn't want to score points for the remainder of the season. We was going off the fastest lap other than G. G said he's just going to participate.
Little Leach got the fastest lap. Oh no,
Keegs got the fastest lap. Yeah, Keegs got the fastest lap.
We're just confused each other here.
It's been brilliant as always, Andy, an absolute pleasure. Ian, nice to have you in the commentary box, and maybe we can do this again in the future, but best luck for the rest of the season. Head over to the Motive Racing channel on Saturday night for their GT3s and their LMP2s, where Ian and Andy will be taking you through some action, if not racing, I'm not quite sure. I'll be on their channel on Sunday night for the touring cars. Andy, any last words?
Yeah, make sure you join us next week at Simplay for the Wednesday Pro-Am Series 8 PM GMT.
Indeed, and it's been a pleasure to have you both here. As always, here from Simplay Motorsport, great racing. Thank you all for being part of the journey tonight, and we'll be back next week in the Pro-Am. See you later. Bye-bye.